Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Movie Watch Live. Tonight is a very special night. Tonight, we honor the people known as the greatest generation, the World War II generation, the VE Day generation. Today and tonight, we commemorate that world-changing event 75 years ago today. VE Day, or Victory in Europe Day, the day when the Allied forces of Britain, the USA, Canada, Free France, and the Commonwealth, and the nations of Australia and New Zealand, and indeed the liberated peoples across the whole of Europe, celebrated the end of Nazi tyranny and the end of conflict in Europe. A momentous day, indeed. And to mark this occasion, we decided from two finalists from a poll we ran to allow our fans to decide a movie widely regarded as one of the best all-time great war dramas, but also one of the best action-adventure movies ever made. Indeed, it's Steven Spielberg's favorite war movie, and it was a definite inspiration for movies like the Indiana Jones films. And so the movie we're watching tonight is Where Eagles Dare. It was filmed in 1968, and it had a royal premiere in January 1969. Stars Richard Burton as Major John Smith, Clint Eastwood as Lieutenant Morris Schaefer, and co-stars many other well-known actors of the day who would have been stars of the screen many times over. People like Mary Ewer, Patrick Wymark, Michael Hordern, Donald Houston, Peter Barkworth, William Squire, Robert Beatty, Brooke Williams, Neil McCarthy, and people like Ferdy Mayne, who turn up all the time to play strange German characters. Anton Diffing, who plays the eponymous German officer, who was also in Fahrenheit 451 as well. So a lot of stars in this cast. So the movie itself, it's set in the winter of 1943 to 44. It's a story of a captured general who has knowledge of the planned D-Day invasion of Europe and a daring plan to rescue him from the clutches of the Nazis, with many twists and turns along the way. It's a movie which principally is about high adventure, of daring do, beyond belief gung-ho action, a classic boys' own adventure, an enduring classic war movie. And joining me tonight are, as usual, and I'm extremely grateful to both of them for their amazing contributions to this show, both Ralph and Elrod. I'd like to introduce both of them tonight, starting with Ralph, who, in case you don't know, is a highly talented pop artist and has his own Teespring website that you should look at. And he joins us tonight, I believe, as a German officer with the word chaos on your uniform. Who are you tonight, Ralph?
I am Officer Klaus von Ichibot, and I will be rooting for the Germans because we got a bad break.
But fantastic uniforms.
Yeah, that's right. Custom tailor.
Boss. You're wonderful.
Yeah.
And the other voice you can hear is an amazingly creative and inventive comic artist, Elrodimus Flash, who we know as Elrod and also as Flash, who joins us tonight as looks like a taxidermied war dog. Good evening, Elrod, and can you explain what your avatar is?
That is the World War I hero, Sergeant Stubby.
Right.
He is well worth Googling.
Okay.
Oh, Sergeant Stubby.
He's like one of the most decorated service animals / war heroes of the time.
Okay.
You couldn't find good. A German Shepherd? What is this?
And in the chat, we've already got people in the chat tonight. So who have we got? Sadie Bella. Good evening, Sadie Bella. And also Kuzmeti. Good evening, Kuzmeti. So we've got our audience here already. So, gentlemen, do you know this movie at all? Have you seen it before?
Oh, I have, but I honestly can't remember much of anything about it. I remember, same kind of thing. It's one of those that I remember sitting with my family in front of the TV as a kid watching it. So,
yeah. And Elrod, any memories?
Kind of the same. I have like no memories. I remember it always being on TV and never seeing it like from start to finish.
Right. So, this is the bit when this happens. Yeah.
There's a fancy castle, like boardroom scene with wooden chairs.
Yes, there is.
And that's all I remember because that's the scene that was always going on when I walked into the movie.
Well, so that means we're going to be coming in at almost fresh. So
yeah,
it'd be nice.
Yeah, that's an important scene in the movie. That's the pivotal point in the movie when things get revealed. There's lots of twists and turns. As Lord Melchett said to Blackadder, I don't know if anybody watching this knows about Blackadder.
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
Yep.
British comedy. He turned to Blackadder and said, Blackadder, you twist and turn like a twisty-turny thing. And there you go.
Yeah. So you can't sum it up any better than that.
It's to the point.
Exactly.
So, we're going to get started now. Explain to the audience, people who haven't seen this show before. This is a commentary. We're going to be watching our own copies of the movie. We're going to be talking about the movie, and you would need your own copy. I'm watching on Amazon. I think Ralph and Elrod have got their own copies. So if you've got it on Blu-ray or DVD, you can pop that in now and get ready to play it. If you don't have that, you can stream it on Amazon. You can stream it on YouTube. There's lots of places you can watch it. So what we'll do is get everybody a chance to get that ready. And what we'll generally do is we'll give you a countdown. We'll go 3, 2, 1, then we'll say go. When we say go, you would press the play button, and then we'll give you nods every now and then about where we are in the movie, give you a timestamp if you need that, and so on and so forth. So it's a really fun film, packed with action. I think I said before the show started that over 1,470 edits. It's like the average shot length is only 6 seconds. So, if you get bored with a movie like this, just stop watching movies, I would say, unless you hate war movies or action movies, that's fine. But if you like war movies, you like action movies, and this is too slow paced for you, well, I don't know why, because this is probably the fastest war movie as far as pacing I've ever seen. It's just non-stop all the way through. And it's got something for everybody. It's got something to keep everybody happy. It's a kind of movie that everyone likes. I'll say now that this is the movie my dad took my mum to see on a date, on their first date. He took her to see this movie.
This movie is your reason for existing.
We've got Mac history here.
So this holds a special place in my heart.
Oh yeah. Well, and another thing, I was thinking with all of those scene cuts in there, you said 1,400.
Yeah,
1,470.
Yeah.
So that's basically the equivalent of one episode of T.J. Hooker where they're filming William Shatner jumping over a fence. This will be great.
T.J. Hooker. Oh, bless him. Cosmetti says that explains a lot. There we go. But yeah. Oh, we've got Matt Crotts in the chat as well. Good evening, Matt. Excited to watch from the chat. Never seen this movie. Matt Crotts, author and artist for Kiri. I think that's still available now to buy, the second book. He's going to be joining us tomorrow night. I should explain to the audience this is going to be a double header for VE Day weekend. We're going to do another movie tomorrow night. Not just one, two. We're going to do Kelly's Heroes tomorrow night. Matt will be joining us for that tomorrow night, as Elrod will. So tonight, though, let's concentrate on Where Eagles Dare. So if I've given everybody a chance to get everything ready, you should have a copy ready by now. And I'll start the ball rolling. So just going to start a countdown. And like I say, when I say go, be ready to press play on your copy of the movie. And I promise I'm not going to boomer things up this time.
Okay.
So I'll try my best. So if everyone's ready, here goes. So 3, 2, 1, go. So I've got the MGM lion roaring there.
Okay. Second roar for me.
Yeah. And the opening scene is the Austrian Alps.
Oh, it reminds me of home.
That's very pretty.
Yeah. Wiener
So
Schnitzel.
Schnitzels und Grubens.
Oh.
This is filmed in the winter of 1968, but it's set in the winter of 1943 to 44. And already there's the iconic intro sequence. You're going to see the Junkers plane.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Nice.
that's a beautiful plane. I think it looks nice, but
I see where Terminator got their drum intro now.
Yeah, this is it. This is a Junkers Ju-52, and this is flying them in to the mission. So this is where we pick up the story, but you'll have a bit of a flashback of the briefing, the mission briefing. And the music, the soundtrack, is probably the thing most people remember straight away. One of the best war movie soundtracks ever was written by Ron Goodwin. Brilliant, stirring introduction.
Yep. Lots of horns, lots of snare drum building.
Very Wagnerian, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of makes me want to root for the wrong side.
Were the uniforms actually designed by, like, and I've heard a lot of rumors about this. Yeah, were they actually designed by Hugo Boss?
Yeah.
Is that just, am I being stupid there?
Was is this root for wrong side?
I'm just thinking of that scene where, are we the baddies?
Yes, exactly.
For my uniforms.
I watched that just before we went on tonight.
There you go.
It showed up in my feed. I was like, oh, how perfect.
We've got skulls for buttons.
And the guy in the corner that's just crocheting a skull and crossbones scarf.
Yes.
Oh, man. So he goes, Alistair MacLean was the story and screenplay writer. He wrote the screenplay and he wrote the book at the same time, and they're almost identical. He was actually a really successful screenwriter. He'd written before this 2 other really successful movies. The Guns of Navarone, I believe. I'll have to check that.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
When I think of this movie, I always think of Navarone because TBS.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
They were always like, Saturday night on TBS, The Guns of Navarone. Heroes, and where Eagles There.
The Batty Station. That's what TBS stands for, the Batty Station.
Yeah.
That actor sitting to the right of Clint Eastwood there, who also played the baddie in Clash of the Titans, Neil McCarthy, was also in Time Bandits the other night when we watched Time Bandits.
Oh, yes.
He's in absolutely everything.
You watched Time Bandits?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure I told you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You weren't in that one, were you?
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, you got to go back and catch that one, man. It was great.
It's a good one. Yeah.
And
From now on, I'm going to tell Flash everything.
Yes, absolutely.
I should have told them that. So
I saw that in the theater.
Yeah, I saw it when I was a kid as well.
And my dad was like, oh, that's Sean Connery. I'm like, who?
Yes, there were several bad Sean Connery impressions.
So this is a briefing about the Castle of Eagles. Schloss Adler. Get him out. So the captured brigadier, or general, I should say. The mosquito who was in Graceland 10 miles away. Now, the real castle that Schloss Adler is based on is the Hohenwerfen Castle, which is, you'll be glad to know, in the Berchtesgaden region. Famous for somebody else, the Berchtesgaden region. So that's why they picked it, because it's that kind of area.
It's extremely impenetrable and a tough to reach location. It's a lot like my trailer park.
Yeah. I think it's situated on a 2,000-foot high precipice. The castle overlooking the Austrian market town of Werfen in Salzach.
Tiger sanction, if you will.
Well, it's like 2,000 feet up. There's a scene in this movie, where Burton is like properly Spider-Manning up the side of the tower, right?
Hammered as badly as me.
And like Clint Eastwood is like way behind. And it's like, what's going on here? Well, apparently Burton, because he was a hard drinker, we'll talk about that later, and a chain smoker, totally out of shape. He went on a crane. They removed the crane with special effects, the wire. So he's just like properly like, X-Man off the side of the fortress, and Clint Eastwood's like really climbing, which is why he takes so much longer. Because by the time they filmed this movie, Burton had bursitis, but I think it was and arthritis, dermatitis, because he was drinking like a fish by this time.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's got to be accurate. I mean, let's face it, us Americans and our cheeseburgers, they're going to hold us back.
Yeah.
Well, I think Burton he had a great time with this movie, but it was a bad time in his life. He was married to Liz Taylor, having a terrible time. That's more than enough reason to be depressed.
Yeah, that'll make you drink.
So, what are we drinking tonight, gentlemen? I'm drinking on honor of the Germans, who make great beer, but I just wish they wouldn't keep invading Europe all the time.
Merkel!
They're not so bad. It's okay.
Well, we have you guys to help us out if it happens again.
Well, there you go. We'll bring our huge armies, the best armies.
Huge. It's going to be big.
Tremendous.
Operation Hairpiece is now in session.
Warsteiner. There we go. So what are you drinking, Ralph? And have you opened your bottle yet?
I have a bit there. I'm getting low on single malt, so I'm going to save that for a little bit further down in the Burton references. So I'm starting off with a bit of wild turkey this evening in honor of America.
Yes, and I don't know, is Elrod got anything to drink right now, or
I'm drinking good old American made in Atlanta, Georgia Coca-Cola.
Ooh,
very good.
Okay. If you want to go Texas, you can get Dr. Pepper.
And about 2 liters of water, so I'll probably take a couple pee breaks.
So
whatever you do, don't mute your microphone when you do.
Yes.
Oh, I won't. You'll hear some deep sounds coming from Bobby Peru.
So I'm at about 9 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah.
They're just jumping out of the plane now.
I'm about 2 seconds ahead of you.
Yeah. I mean, the cinematography, the guy who did the cinematography for this movie went on to win an Oscar.
A Fräulein.
Yeah. Now, I should explain.
My representation?
Yeah. Now, this is Mary Uhr, U-R-E, who plays the character she plays is Mary Ellison. Now, I should say that, well, the two ladies in this film, Mary Ewer and also Ingrid Pitt.
Ooh.
So there's some sexy ladies in the movie.
This is like prime Ingrid Pitt too, huh?
Yeah.
This is like Hammer horror Ingrid Pitt.
No. Well, Ingrid Pitt is the I'm sure she's the she's later on in the movie Heidi. She plays Heidi, the waitress, bar wench, I suppose you could say.
So she's not a lesbian vampire in this one?
Not in this one. Although she does make a great lesbian vampire as well.
My mom will be so upset.
Yeah. So the person you're seeing first of all is Mary Ewer, who plays Mary Ellison. So the first thing you're going to see is obviously they've landed and some distance away from any German soldiers, obviously, with their equipment. And I think one of the guys they find has a broken neck. And then straight away the mystery starts. Did he have a broken neck when he landed? Or is there some foul play going on amongst the men? Is there someone amongst the men who's a murderer or a traitor? And this is where it starts.
Yeah. Well, and you know, if you watch the parachute jump, the landings in those parachutes weren't exactly gentle.
Mm.
He had my vodka.
Harrod. This, interestingly, there's a similarity here between this movie and another, and you mentioned vampires. Anybody ever seen the movie The Amazing Vampire Killers? Sorry, The Fearless Vampire Killers, I beg your pardon.
Yeah,
Fearless
with
Vampire Killers, 1967.
Polanski?
Yeah, sadly directed by Roman Polanski.
Oh yeah.
So, a great film, but you know, obviously, but one of the characters in there, played by the same actor you'll see tonight, who plays Rossemeyer. But the atmosphere is very similar. You're in the middle of winter, and there's a lot of very like dull blues and dim atmosphere.
Where was this filmed?
I'm glad you asked, and I'll supply you with that information. The film of the movie, it's basically 4 different locations. The castle is in Austria, and there's no cable car there, so they had to go to a separate location for that, also in Austria. But the other scenes were actually filmed. A lot of them were filmed in England.
Oh wow!
So the village that they go to is basically three locations in Austria, 3 different villages for different settings. But the airport scenes are in Austria as well. But I'm pretty sure these scenes were filmed in Britain during the winter of '68.
Oof.
Now, I could be wrong because it's not specific with that, but the film took 6 months. It started in January. I think they didn't finish mid-January. I think they didn't finish till July. And there was various reasons for that. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But
Richard, you need on. Oh my God, he's gone.
Get the vodka out of his hand.
That's it, exactly. That's what I was thinking that he was doing. Searching for the vodka. Make sure, see if he's got a little hip flask.
Now, we're sooner or later going to hear the iconic phrase, the code phrase on the radio. But this is what he's doing all the time. He's communicating on the radio secretly because he's looking at the dead body and trying to figure out, was this a broken net on impact? And it's not, because he can see strangle marks there. So it's been done by someone, and he's going to find that there are traitors in his ranks. And that leads up to the eventual discovery later on in the movie, which is the armchair dining hall scene that Elrod talked about. Which is, it's been lampooned as well, that scene, because it's hilariously funny as well. Lee Marvin was actually picked to initially picked to do the role of the Major John Smith, but he turned it down. I'll tell you why.
They couldn't get one notorious alcoholic, so they got another one.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
The director's like, I need a leading man who can drink his weight in vodka and whiskey like per hour.
Whatever we do, we can't put them both on there. We'll blow the budget.
Mic drop from Flash.
Did you pay me $20 for this film? No, 20,000. Oh, okay. I barely read this.
He declined it, didn't he? Because
how many bottles of vodka is that?
4 a day.
4. Okay.
We'll go into that in a second, but Lee Marvin declined it because he said they were 4 years too late. He'd already just done Dirty Dozen in 1967, and he hated it. Apparently, it made him a huge star overnight, but he hated it and never ever wanted to do another World War II movie ever again.
Oh,
you sure like he didn't want to work with Paint Your Wagon co-star Clint Eastwood again? Like, I don't want to be around that man's singing voice ever again.
Oh, man.
Paint Your
Wagon was a nightmare.
He couldn't carry a high C in a wheelbarrow.
What a diva.
That's what we need now is a 90-year-old Clint Eastwood musical.
Paint Your Wagon too.
Yes.
He can do the Lee Marvin part.
Ooh, Paint Your Wagon 2, Paint Your Barn. We're honest.
Isn't the most disturbing thing about Paint Your Wagon that it's actually a musical about polyamorous people?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? It's a beautiful movie because it was filmed on location in Oregon.
I don't judge.
It's visually nice.
Yeah. I've been to the town where they filmed it, and it was on a Greyhound bus. And that was kind of their claim to fame, is like they filmed Paint Your Wagon here. A movie many people would like to forget.
Yeah. But they had there was like some diner near the bus stop that had pictures of Lee Marvin sitting in the diner with a giant can of beer and a Jack Daniels.
Imagine that.
While eating his bacon and eggs.
Lovely. Because when he says Polanski's a good director, even though he is a creep. He is indeed a creep, but he is actually a good director. I mean, I saw Ghostwriter as well. That was a fun. Ghostwriter is an amazing movie.
Oh yeah, Ghostwriter with Nick Cage. Yeah, great movie.
Unbelievable. Now here we see no, not one. Writer, sorry. Writer, as in someone who writes. You're trying to catch me out there, Rob.
I almost got you.
Yeah. There she is. This Fräulein. Is Mary Ellison. Okay. Wasn't Richard Burton's first choice, apparently. So she's the local agent who takes up the role of a secretary in the castle to prepare the way, for when they get to the castle.
So, Pete, who would you say has the better British accent? Richard Burton, the Welshman, or American Keanu Reeves?
I'll have the obvious answer, and I'll say the Welshman has the best British accent.
I don't know. I mean, Bram Stoker's Dracula, I was convinced that Keanu Reeves was not English. American.
Well,
clearly.
Whoa. Limey, whoa, blimey, whoa.
He's such a great actor, isn't he?
Mina.
Oh yeah. And you all may notice I have switched to the Fraulein for this scene.
Only to be surpassed by Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins. I'm a real Cockney guy, I am.
Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins, or Dick Van Dyke and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Oh, God, same difference.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, he didn't even do an accent.
There was a school of pronunciation in Hollywood for 20 years, right? And it was the how to do a Cockney accent school. And every American actor who played a Cockney went there, and they all sounded like this. Hi, everybody, I'm a Cockney gent.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, Hollywood actually, at that time, actually going to Britain to learn proper dialect for regions. Come on. Okay,
yeah,
the Fraulein is gone.
You were getting Dick Van Dyke as dancing and singing. You weren't getting accent.
That's what he was there for.
You're paying for the show.
Yeah.
The Fraulein is gone. I'm going back to my normal avatar. Back to Nazi Ralph.
All right. I didn't see the Fraulein.
Oh, I'm sure she'll make another appearance.
All right. I missed her.
Haha, snuck her in on you.
Scheisse. So I'm at 21 minutes, 15 seconds. And Richard Burton's just come back to the hut to talk to Clint. And at this stage, his character is aware that there's foul play going on. We find out more about that later. The dialogue for Clint Eastwood was actually cut right down because he didn't like the movie.
Oh, really?
Well, first of all, he asked him to get his hair cut.
Oh,
right? And he didn't like that. This is 1968. He did not want to cut his hair cut.
Hippie time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there was that. And then also, he also commented on the fact that he didn't like the dialogue he was given. He just thought it was very unbelievable. Which is interesting for him to say because he's been in some bad movies as well as good movies. But he basically his dialogue, a lot of his dialogue was just given over to Burton. So they dealt with it that way, and he played the sort of quiet type who gradually...
Well, I mean, at the time, he was internationally known as the quiet type and for the spaghetti westerns, so...
Oh, yeah. This is... Yeah, right along the time of the Man with No Name movies, right?
This is like directly after, right?
Yeah, so maybe he was trying to maintain his relationship with that, his reputation with that as well.
Branding.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say Brandy? I'm there.
Yeah, she's a fine girl.
Oh, the girl. Okay. Oh, Fräulein. Down the mountain.
So they're basically gradually making their way back to this village, and they've seen
the trailer park.
Yeah. The Germans love this, don't they? Let's pick the highest mountain and build a castle on the top.
And we will have pretzels and a pool and a splash zone.
And we will be really nasty to everyone, but we actually have really nice beer. So you can't argue with that.
All right, with Burton in place, we've seen the castle, so out comes a splash of single malt.
There's the cork pop.
I'm running low. I have to ration.
Yes.
Let her breathe.
It is a little bit of an odd way. Sorry, go ahead, Ralph.
Oh no, I was just going to say the wild turkey is good for stripping paint
and cleaning brushes.
Yes.
What an odd way to switch the scene, says Cosmetti. It is a bit of an odd way. It was really sort of in your face and not really continuous, but they're making their way undercover to this German village, and from there they'll make their way to the stronghold. Now you can see underneath for the first time, underneath their snowsuits, camouflage, they're wearing German uniforms.
Yeah. Yeah, we caught a glimpse of them in the cabin. Some of them, when they had their tops off and stuff, you could see the German coats.
Now there's the eponymous words that we've been waiting for. Broadsword calling Danny boy. Broadsword calling Danny boy. And that is the most famous line in this old movie. Broadsword calling Danny boy.
We should, Americans should roll their R's. We stretch our vowels here in the South. We should definitely roll our R's too.
Redneck.
Hey, you all. Yeah, exactly. Verily, I say, thou neck is red. Hey, Mama, bring me another brewski. Yeah.
Mama, bring me another one of those toilet rolls.
Oh, nice. And with the current situation we're in, topical. Nice.
See what I did there?
You're very good, yeah.
So this guy here, Michael Hordern, was a well-known actor at the time, well-respected. He's one of those actors who plays never the main role, but he's always there, supporting the other actors. He was a good actor. This castle, which his real name is Hohenwerfen. Hohenwerfen Castle.
Gesundheit.
Hohenwerfen is the fortress surrounded by the Berchtesgaden Alps. We know Berchtesgaden because that's where the eagle's nest was in the Tenor Mountains. Hohenwerfen is there's loads of fortresses in these mountains, but it goes back for hundreds of years. And today, amongst other things, it's a falconry where they keep falcons. So it's really the falcon's nest.
Oh, so
Dobermans.
Oh, Dobermans. The I guess even in the 60s they were the greatly feared dog.
Yeah.
So both.
Oh, they couldn't say German Shepherd at this time, right? That one wasn't until the 70s. They were allowed to say German Shepherd again in movies.
Really?
I don't.
Yeah, because of the connotation of Nazis.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, they call them what is it? Alsatians or whatever. They're actually.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you watch a lot of old TV shows, they'll be like, "Oh, it's an Alsatian."
All right. You might notice that both.
And in like late 70s, early 80s, you hear them called German Shepherds again.
All right. Fair enough. Can you see the uniform that both Burton and Eastwood are wearing has the little Edelweiss flower on it? Because the fictional castle is located in an area which is the headquarters of the Wehrmacht Alpenkorps, and their symbol is the Edelweiss flower. So that's why they got that in the uniform, the Edelweiss. This helicopter arriving in the courtyard, this is a really famous scene. It's supposed to make us think that the Nazis are so well ahead, they've already got the kind of helicopters you wouldn't see until March 10 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, but this is actually not a German helicopter because most of the aircraft factories have been smashed to pieces by this time. This is actually an American helicopter. It's an American Bell 47.
That's the one from MASH.
Yeah,
the Bell 47. Yeah, all roads lead to MASH.
Yes, exactly. And all right, since we have a Bell helicopter reference, shout out to Fort Worth, Texas, home of Bell helicopters.
And that's just remind me, when I was a kid, my dad bought me a calculator. This is really boring. And it was a Texas Instruments calculator.
There you go. Yeah.
It was quite a good calculator, actually.
Oh, Cosmeti's got a great point. Boston doesn't have R's. They only have 25 letters in their alphabet.
Oh.
So they just have an H, don't they? Hey, I'm going out into the garden.
That's right.
I'm going to the park.
I'm going to the park.
I'm going to take the dog for a walk in the park.
Hey, Mark, come in. Check this out.
Mark. Go to the park with Mark.
Hi, Mark.
All right. So, got a room reference. There we go.
Yep.
Gotta have another thing. If you have not found the spoofs of the Chevy commercials featuring Mark, I have to expose you guys to those. Those are sickeningly. Oh, after the movie, I'll hit you up. Those are hilarious.
That was who was it there? Ferdy Main, who plays Rossemeyer. This is actually a movie of opposites, because the people who play, obviously, because unbeknownst to Marxists and SJWs, who believe that actors are, when they play a role, they are really that person. No, it's called acting. The actors playing these parts have very different lives, obviously, to the parts they're playing.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
yeah, Burton in real life was a SS agent.
Yeah, it was actually like experimented on people.
Yeah. Clint Eastwood was his Minister of Science.
Clint Eastwood was actually, he was the first person to discover taxidermy.
Human taxidermy.
Yeah.
Yes, and he was also a beautiful little person lady.
Yes, he was actually 4 feet tall, but he wore stilts on camera.
He was just very lanky, so he looks big on camera.
Yes, exactly.
It's very convincing. He stands on a box all the time. Everybody else is standing in a trench.
Hey, has anybody seen the key grip? We need Mr. Eastwood's box.
There's the fantastic uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. Where's the chaos button? They're missing the chaos medal.
I haven't got enough skull buttons on my uniform. What's going on?
Wait a minute, guys. We look like the baddies.
I just got completely off track now.
Yeah, sorry.
So they're in the village. They've changed into their officers' uniforms. This is the tavern scene.
Oh,
coming
hold on
up.
a minute. Let me get ready.
And this is where we're going to meet Ingrid Pitt, who plays Heidi.
Milk jugs. And I'm talking about the milk jugs outside, not the ones in the tavern.
Here.
But yeah, interesting point about Ingrid Pitt. She actually found this movie really difficult because she was actually a concentration camp survivor.
Oh wow!
Oh,
did you know that she escaped from a concentration camp with her mother. Ingrid Pitt had some Jewish heritage. A father, she had a German father as well, so she was part Jewish, part German. She escaped from Stutthof concentration camp near Danzig, and I think she also got over the Berlin Wall as well. So it was hard, she actually made a daring escape in real life over the Berlin Wall. Amazing
You
person.
kind of forget that, like when you watch things from the '60s, that like all of these actors it was still fresh in their mind.
Yeah, it's like 20 years. It's like
removed.
it's like us watching movies about the Gulf War.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. Hello to Fallen into Destiny.
Hello. Oh no. No party foul for being late. You can catch up. Although
I mean, all of the Germans from Hogan's Heroes were all, escapees in World War II that fled Germany.
That's right. Yeah.
Like Colonel Klink, he had fled. He was a well-known musician and orchestra arranger and conductor. And he basically was like, "Oh, I'm going on tour and never coming back."
Yeah.
Because all the artists were round up and exterminated pretty quick, so he was out. And then Schultz, the sergeant, the dumb sergeant, he was an actual German who also fled for the same reasons.
See, I didn't know that. I believe that actor's name was John Baker, I believe.
John Banner, yeah. And that's why they were like, Klink never, like, he wouldn't let them portray Klink as smart ever.
Now,
because he's like, no, they were evil and they have to be portrayed as idiots.
Oh, yes.
Right.
I've now switched. So, Pete, I'm now a pretty Fraulein.
Yeah. Oh, hello! Achtung, Leben!
Hello, see anything you like?
Now, I was talking about opposites. The guy you just seen there at the bar, the Gestapo officer, he does it so well as well. Darren Nesbitt plays the Gestapo officer. He's actually born Horvitz. He was a Jew. Was Jewish, although he said he's playing a Gestapo officer. And he actually on set, you were talking about it being really recent. On set, he asked for. He was so keen to play the role so well that on location he had requested me to form a member of the Gestapo to better understand how to play the role and get all of the military etiquette right and everything. So,
wow.
So there's Burton whistling to the beautiful Ingrid Pitt,
the St. Pauli's girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, here in a minute, you'll see the the famous scene with Clint Eastwood where he goes up to the barmaid and he says, excuse me, there's a mouse in my beer, eh? So that means that I get like free ale for life, right, eh? Free snitching Gruben?
Hey, baby, 3 snitching Gruben's enough for any man. That's one of the best lines ever.
Yes. See, we're crossing over into all the movies.
There's a lot of, Kelly's Heroes are going to watch tomorrow night, 2 years later. Well, yeah, 1 year later in this movie. It's a fairly crammed filming time for Clint Eastwood. He did this, then he went off to do 2 Mules for Sister Sarah. And then after that, he did Kelly's Heroes. And there's a lot of people involved in this movie that were also involved in Kelly's Heroes. So
this is kind of like the last hurrah for like old Hollywood World War II movies.
It sort of is in that kind of style.
Is like kind of the subversive, like, Vietnam era.
This is the last this is the last gasp adventure, big adventure
like
style thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, for Burton, his acting career was already waning by this stage. He was in a terrible marriage with Liz Taylor, and this was actually a good time for him because he got what was it? He got $1.2 million for this movie. Clint Eastwood got $800,000, but I think one of the deals for one of the deals for Clint was that he also got a Norton P11 motorcycle. And he was allowed to ride it around Brands Hatch racetrack whenever he wanted to. And he took Ingrid Pitt with him as well. And they would ride around together.
That was part of the deal. Like, I want an Ingrid Pitt and a motorcycle.
I want Ingrid and the motorcycle. I'll be needing your boots, your jacket,
and your Fräulein.
and your Fräulein with the blonde hair.
See, since we still have Fräuleins, I'm still in Fräulein mode.
I'm so disappointed that Arnold Schwarzenegger hasn't been in a World War II movie as a Nazi.
This time,
that's a great loss to humanity.
He'll probably play an aged general.
He could play Hitler. I mean, he's old enough to play Hitler now, right?
Oh my gosh, could you imagine him in the role of Hitler?
I mean, they're from the same country, so it's kind of perfect. They have the same mentality of.
Well, yeah, there's that.
It's not a blitzkrieg.
They both love dogs. They both love discipline.
Österreich.
They both love Strudel and Strudel from Mother.
Strudel. I like my strudel.
They don't like physical imperfections.
Oh man, do you know? There's a lot of crossover. You know, remember Goldfinger that we did?
Yeah.
There's a lot of crossovers with Goldfinger here. I just should explain where we are to the audience. We're at 41 minutes, 20 seconds, and Richard Burton's talking to Mary Ellison, the character, about the plan to get her into the castle, and then once she's in the castle, she can help them gain entrance. But yeah, the stuntman Alf Joint, what a great name that is.
Yeah.
He actually played Capungo, the man in Goldfinger who ends up electrocuted in the bathtub. Shocking.
Oh,
shocking. He was actually a stuntman, and he plays the stuntman. Well, plays the stuntman. He plays Richard Burton in this movie, and more often than not, Richard Burton didn't actually have to appear in any of the action shots, mainly because Richard was busy most of the time drinking 4 bottles of vodka a day.
Yeah, he's right behind me then, that lightweight.
So that explained why, Richard wasn't available most of the time. So yeah, he would go missing for days on end.
Yeah, that's something we don't have anymore. Dignified alcoholics.
Yeah.
Yes, functional alcoholics.
Functional. They're great. I worked with a chef who was a functional alcoholic, and he was wonderful.
Yeah. He
would show up to work like literally, shaking and falling apart, looking like he was having a stroke mixed with a heart attack. And then the executive chef would, bring out a beer. 5 minutes later, boom, he's on the grill, filling steaks.
Hey, did the beer have a mouse in it, perchance?
No.
Oh,
was it just enough alcohol to get his system moving and to make him a functional human? It was it was really sad, but I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Goodness me. And it's just incredible.
I can't imagine that. I take poison to make me feel good.
But they build up a tolerance to it,
Yeah.
And they can function with it. So yeah, I mean, apparently Burton was so drunk one time he knocked himself out filming that. Alf Joint had to quickly fill in for him, and this happened several times. But apparently the stuntman Alf lost 3 teeth when he was filming the cable car sequence. So it's pretty bad. So we're back in the beer hall. Now this guy does this role so well. And I think he's also in Battle of the Bulge.
Oh, Uncle Fritz.
Hello, sir.
Ha.
And I'm sure there's a question he asks later on about
It's so
Dusseldorf.
refreshing to see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl.
And
You would make perfect breeding stock.
I remember, minus the German uniforms, I remember seeing this film and thinking, German beer halls look like a fun place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And many years later, I actually went to Munich, and I went to the actual beer hall in Munich, where it all started, apparently. And we were sitting in the bar in the Hofbrauhaus in Munich, and some old German guy said to my mate, he said, "You do realize that's where I'm not going to say the name, right?
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to say the name, but you do realize that's where such and such sat." And I looked over and was like, sure enough, it was like a little plaque saying such and such sat here. I thought, okay.
Yeah.
So here we go. The beer hall's getting raided.
Oh, it's like the trailer park on Saturday night.
Meemaw, stop brewing that moonshine.
Well, you got to make that side income. Wow, that's a brow.
Now he's a proper like this. Personally, and I've got nothing against German as a language linguistically, but to me it sounds like a typewriter covered in tin foil or aluminum foil being thrown down a flight of stairs.
It is.
I was thinking it's more like a 300-pound person falling down a flight of steps. It's a lot. Mine back.
It's a rather intense language.
Can I ask as well? Whenever you see a war movie, why are the cities of Stuttgart and Dusseldorf always mentioned?
It's probably the only ones Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the only ones Americans can pronounce properly.
Yeah.
It's pre-Hasselhoff.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Excuse me, I have to ring the cable car.
Excuse me, I'm taking the train to Stuttgart and on to Hasselhoff.
Look at me. I'm wearing mostly leather. I have a leather coat, a leather hat, and yes,
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not a sympathizer or anything, but those guys dressed amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, and
look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh.
You can smell his cologne from here, can't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's subtle. It's not even overpowering. It's not like Axe body spray.
Very earthy.
It's like
it's
like,
not high karate.
He's like vanilla and T-bone steak.
Oh, now that's a combination I never thought I'd hear.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And so maybe a hint of sausages.
Yes.
Well, and he has SS on his lapel, which stands for Mr. Metiker Squeety Squad. Didn't know he was a YouTuber back then.
So off they go on the cable car.
Yeah, they're my coat ladies. Have you ever been in the cable car before?
Now this is where the daring do starts to begin, because did you know that Clint Eastwood didn't like this because he said, didn't like it was all exposition and not enough just pure acting and dialogue. But the other thing that he has a reputation for is for violence in his movies.
Yeah.
Now, just kills everybody in the car. His character kills more people in this movie than any other Eastwood movie.
Oh,
He
really?
literally just wipes out hundreds of people in this movie. He's a complete psychotic killing machine. His character, you find out later, he's a trained assassin. He just kills everything. So this is a movie where, Eastwood is the most violent.
Oh,
Fallen Destiny says
for Dirty Harry.
Yeah,
yes,
but
there you
even
go.
more than that. I mean,
one person in that movie.
Yeah, in this one, it's like I can't even keep up with the body count. Falling into Destiny says, I'll say it, the German language sounds like someone eating spaghetti with their mouth open.
While being stabbed in the back.
Yes. And someone playing the tambourine. Oh, here we go. We're going to push the car over the cliff where there's dead Germans in the cliff. In the car. And this car is going to go up in a ball of flames, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Oh, it is that time. It is that time when cars blew up from going over cliffs.
Yeah, who knew Mercedes-Benz made the Ford Pinto?
These crowds need a firewall.
Yeah, I don't really talk in this movie. I just kill everyone.
Killing's fun.
Yeah.
I hope this gas tank's not self-sealing. Here we go. And wait for it.
I hope it's
there. We go.
Actually, there you go, into the river there. It's good for the environment, throwing flaming cars into small rivers.
See, what I always love is that it always explodes before it ever reaches the bottom.
Yeah, and it's from just like friction of a bumpy road. It's not even.
Maybe one of the Germans was a smoker. Yeah, one of the Germans was a smoker. He dropped his cigarette.
Yeah.
Was this German guard here? Was she the inspiration for that character in the Austin Powers movies?
I'm thinking so.
The inspiration from my English teacher in 7th grade.
Oh,
yes, it's not the most unpredictable movie, cosmetic. But wait till you get to the dining room scene. That is.
If I was more stereotypical, I don't know what I would do.
Here's.
Hello, Dr. Who villain.
Hello. Hello. Oh, excitement. And there's Anton Diffring. Who plays a German high-ranking Nazi general or whatever. He was Jewish in real life, and he was gay. So, again, complete opposite.
Yeah.
So does that mean he's not allowed to play a German general who was straight?
I tell you.
It's called acting, baby.
Yes, exactly. Hard to believe they play pretend.
Mm.
Gestapo.
Now, this is the horrible nature of the Gestapo. I think by this time in the war, the Gestapo and the Nazis were starting to take over the military. And this is why you had things like Operation Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And ultimately, by 1944, the SS and the party members were calling a lot of the shots, and that's what led to some appallingly bad military decisions.
Well, that's how cults kind of go, right? I mean, they serve the higher ups. It doesn't serve everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And Hitler wasn't exactly a military genius.
No.
Oh, Cosmetti has a clarification about her unexpected comment, Pete.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting point. The Screaming Like a Girl, it was one of the first times That happened in movies, apparently.
But I didn't catch it. It wasn't a Wilhelm scream, was it?
No.
Oh, too bad.
Because Matty spots things like that, you see.
Yes. Schnitzengruben!
Schnitzel. Are we going to hear Broadsword Corn Danny Boy again?
Oh, here we go.
Judy.
That's a Welsh accent, you see, boy.
Yes, it is.
Okay, one of the things that knocked the wheels off of my day was finding out that Catherine Zeta-Jones is Welsh.
She is.
And to Americans, her accent usually sounds very Spanish. So
because of Zorro.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit of a melange of different things now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, she puts on a very Americanized accent for movies.
Their accent's not Welsh, but she would have sounded Welsh before she got into acting.
Oh yeah,
she was in an ITV drama called Darling Buds of May many years ago. Oh, that's where she got her start.
Before she was ruined by Michael Douglas. God damn it.
Yeah.
The Germans have totally penetrated MI6. Well, we all know about MI6, don't we?
And penetration.
Penetration. So we're starting to find out.
Oh, sorry.
The real reason for this mission. We're starting to find out that there's a problem in the military, in MI6, and in the high-ranking British military with, possible traitors. So we're getting little hints about what's going on. So they've escaped. So what happened in the bar? There was 5 of them left. The 3 junior officers were taken away. Clint Eastwood and Richard Burton were taken in a separate car. They escaped. They're now on their own. We don't know what's happened to the 3 lower-ranking officers, but we're now following Burton and Eastwood, and they're going to now basically terrorize this village. They're going to start blowing up everything. And this is the real boys' own daring do adventure story starting now. This is where it gets really ranked up. You're going to see almost every German in the village getting shot, German soldiers, and explosions everywhere. This is where it really heats up.
And I have to go back to that last scene at British HQ. Shout out to Lieutenant Sparky, who was the radio operator. Good job. Good job.
I should explain as well, even though, because as British people, we like to confuse everyone. Our rank is spelt exactly the same way as lieutenant, but we choose to pronounce it lieutenant.
Well, just Britain and America are 2 countries separated by a common ocean, as they say.
Yes, separated by the same language. Oscar Wilde.
Very much so, yes. We mangle it. You guys insert U's in odd places.
And we perfect it. I mean,
well,
yep. Say? Not to brag or anything, but, Yes.
There we go.
Oh, my gosh.
So there we go. That's a distraction to keep the Germans busy.
Somebody's sauerkraut just burned.
Now, see, if you'd bought a Chevy, that wouldn't have happened.
And so all the chaos, they can then escape and get further towards the castle. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I may or may not have tried this exact same thing on the last raid on Mammo Still. Cannot say. Ooh, right in the neck.
Oh,
Yep.
McStabbin. Hey, where's Carl?
Yeah.
Carl, where are you?
Oh, Stabby McStabberton.
Oh my God, full American.
I think you guys are a little bit ahead of me. Are you on? Are they on the motorbike yet?
Not yet.
No.
I'm at 59.50.
I've just skipped ahead a bit. They're now on the motorbike and sidecar.
Yeah, they just got on the motorbike for me.
Same.
Yep. Apparently, 2 of the production team got badly burnt on this movie.
That's a lot of pyro.
It's a lot, isn't it? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, there's the back projector thing going on.
Yeah.
This is the first movie to use back projector.
Well, to be fair, I was going to say, to be fair, with the fumes that Burton was probably putting off, they needed to keep him far away from open flames.
Yeah. I think if Burton had opened his mouth at that scene, it would have been game over.
Okay, now I do have a question. It doesn't seem like a very effective gate if they automatically let everybody through.
It's a bit like the borders in the UK. Anyway,
You're not alone, my friend.
Yeah.
So these are the charges they're setting up on the, I think, telegraph or phone posts all the way through to the town. And this is obviously for the end. They're planning, they're setting up the route of escape already. For, if they get out alive, they're going to go back this way, and they're setting charges to help with their escape. But also to take out communications as well. Which is the first thing you do. This is one of the first things they did on D-Day. When they went in, they getting cosmetic said. So this is the first thing they did on D-Day, isn't it? They took out all the communications. So the Germans couldn't communicate with each other.
Exactly. You make them blind and chaos reigns. Hence my catchphrase.
And you know how we've said before, like when they make these movies, they can't hide the era that they were made in, and like how Ingrid Pitts just got off the cable car there, and it's obvious this movie was made in the 60s. The makeup, the hair, what she's wearing, and everything. It's just obvious it was made in the 60s.
The 70s were the worst, where no one cut their hair to do period movies.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like
the 70s were the decade that good taste forgot.
I mean, that's why Raiders of the Lost Ark was like groundbreaking. It's like, oh my God, they actually have haircuts from the period.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Harrison Ford doesn't have huge sideburns. What's going on?
Hang on, the Nazis don't have flares.
Oh, they have plenty of flair.
The scene at the end. I mean, you've got to be a hardened, heartless person to not be in some way encouraged by the scene of Mary Ure with a machine gun in her hand in the end scene on the bus. This female empowerment.
Exactly. That's it. Female empowerment. They were way ahead of their time.
Yep.
Oh, what is a padlock? Checkmate, Britain. What will you do now?
Englander. With your dynamite? I don't think so.
You
That's
stupid
right.
roast beef eaters.
Yes.
With your Yorkshire puddings.
What will you do now, Englander?
With your warm beers. You stupid.
You and your caveman American friend.
Yes, over there drinking the covered
Mongol,
water,
if you will.
stretching his vowels, not
Pardon?
his bowels, but
Vowels.
that who.
Oh, look, this is a cowboy. And his slimy friend. Well.
Let me guess, you're from Texas. Well, yeah, actually I am.
It's them. It is after Labor Day and they're wearing white.
Oh no, the fashion Nazis are with the grammar Nazis. We're ruined.
He only spells your one way.
It is not apostrophe Y-R.
So, an English officer and an American officer wearing German uniforms, is this not cultural appropriation?
Oh,
it is. It's very offensive to dead Germans.
Hold on a minute. I'm triggered.
Germans in old folks' homes.
I'm triggered. I'm going to write a strongly worded tweet.
Yeah. So there's the 3 junior officers being taken to the Schloss Adler.
Yeah, they took the long way round.
I mean, look at all of this stuff here with the the control room and everything. It's just so obvious Spielberg was influenced for this for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh,
definitely, without a doubt. So this is the most famous scene from the movie, the cable car scene. Well, this is the first cable car scene. There's another one later on, but this is like the amount of this is a real stunt. They are actually on top of the cable car. If they fall, they're dead. Okay.
Stuntmen don't get enough respect.
Yeah.
No, they don't. There's a reason why there's so few of them back then.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know Clint Eastwood referred to this movie? He didn't call it Where Eagles Dare. So we're back to the studio and they've got like the rear projection technology there for the special effect. Clint Eastwood called this movie Where Doubles Dared.
Yeah.
It's the amount of times they have doubles. Every time there's an action scene, it's a double. And most of the time anyway, because most of the time filming, Richard Burton was drunk. So
can we get a stunt walker over here?
Can we get a drunk double?
Hold on a minute.
A double that can just walk in a straight line.
Hold on a minute. We've got a drinking scene. We need to get a drinking double for Burton, please. Falling into Destiny has a good observation.
It does, yeah.
Yes. Are you saying that you like my accent? Yeah, it's good.
Here we go.
I come for the voices. I stay for the sausages and strudels.
So the reason this took 6 months to film was because it was delayed because of weather in Austria. The shooting took place in winter, early spring. The crew had to contend with blizzards, sub-zero temperatures, potential avalanches, and further delays were incurred. Richard Burton, well known for his drinking habits, disappeared for several days on end with his friends Peter O'Toole and Richard Harris. So you just bugger off and go for a drink with Peter O'Toole and Richard Harris.
Were they searching for Oliver Reed?
I don't think Ollie was there. If Ollie was there, we wouldn't even have the movie.
No,
it just wouldn't have got finished. Yeah, if Ollie had joined in.
I'm going to throw this out there. Ich liebe voices. Yeah.
Do you know what? Who's the actress from the from Blazing Saddles?
Oh,
talking about
Madeline Kahn.
Yeah.
Yes.
What a great she when she does a German accent. Honest to God, it's amazing.
With a lisp, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
And with thousands of men again and again.
It's what about Young Frankenstein though, where she gets attacked by Frankenstein monster and she screams and she goes, "Oh, mystery of life at last I found you."
my favorite thing is Frau Brucke and the horses winning every time.
And then what was his name again?
Marty Feldman.
Marty Feldman keeps just saying Brucke.
Yes. And the old urban legend that's German for glue.
Yeah, that'll be it. Cable cars freak me out.
I don't blame you, man.
My toes curl every time I see this scene.
Is it because of this movie or because of Blind Fury?
Oh, good question.
Ooh.
It's my
Pretty
favorite
high up,
cable car movie. Or On Her Majesty's Secret Service, another good cable car.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's amazing. The Nazis never look up. If they looked up from their work, they would have caught them.
They're so busy.
They're
They
like
must be
dogs. They can't
efficient.
look up.
I'm very good at my job. I finished my job. Is that it?
Franz, have you finished your TP report yet? If you could, that would be great. Yeah.
Yes. I want you to just go ahead and do that.
Got a couple of Langley legs hanging over the edge here.
Yeah, this is freaky, but it's really atmospheric. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's obviously special effects, but imagine going to see this at the movies for the first time, 1969, and it really pushes it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's really pushing you with the thrill.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You're on Super 70 or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, and I got to break with the goofy for a bit because this is how you build tension.
And the music's perfect, isn't it?
Exactly. And we're kind of cracking on the rear projection technology a little bit from the 60s, but like for example,
it worked in this scene though. I think it really worked in that scene.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. Yeah, the work they did in post, and then you put that also with the cinematography from the beginning of the movie with the aircraft flying in. They did some great work on this.
Like this is flawless, but it's I guess the background is static, so you don't have the lighting is always constant.
Right. This is a bit where he's on the crane.
Oh,
he's just going boop, 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 boop. He climbing up, and it's like Eastwood, half his age, is like.
Burton is climbing like I am if there's a chili dog at the top of a ladder.
Now, do you think Burton was on a wire, or they were just dangling a bottle of bourbon at the top of the hill? Come on, buddy. Come on. Like the dangling carrot for a horse.
Come on, Richard. There's all you can drink gin and tonic at the top of this tower. Come on, you little bugger. Get up here.
They're just tinkling ice and glasses. Like, ching, ching, ching. He's like, oh, what was that? Climb.
A bit of extra incentive was they had Liz Taylor at the bottom of the ladder. So,
oh yeah,
and at the top was someone just clinking glasses, like when a dog hears someone whisper cheese.
Yes, exactly.
What?
Oh, dude, that you can yell at a dog for days, but you open a cheese wrapper, boom, they're right there.
Oh yeah, they know what's what.
I worked in a dog daycare, and I'd be in a room with like 40 to 50 dogs by myself. And I would do the experiment of like, I'm going to see what they eat at home. So I would just walk around the room, like whispering, like cheese, pizza, hamburger. And you just see their like different ones' ears like perk up.
Yes.
So I would know what trigger words to use to control them. So I'm like, oh, Greeley's being mean. I'm like, oh, watch this. I'm like, cheeseburger. He just like, what? Calm down.
Okay, true story. When our dogs get loose, I'm an idiot. So I would chase the dogs through the neighborhood if they got loose. The dogs think, hey, this is a fun game. Run from the fat man.
They love that.
So Mrs. Ralph, how she retrieves them is she goes out on the front porch and rattles a box of treats, and they all come running to her. So see who the smart one is.
Good God, that nearly killed me. No, it didn't, Richard. Yeah. You just got lifted all the way up, you fat alcoholic.
Hand me the... No, he's talking about he hasn't had a drink for 30 minutes.
Another bloody bottle of vodka, you buggers. Because Matty says, wouldn't it be funny if the glove had just got... I was thinking about the gloves at that stage. And see Eastwood struggling up the side there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he comes up to the top. Burton's in there with a Bloody Mary already, eating the celery. Oh, wait a minute. This looks like a very Batman and Robin scene.
Sammy Davis Jr. going to pop out of the wall and, oh, my God. I heard all about you guys.
Oh, looks like there's a raid going on.
Just lets him get on with it. Because mate says dogs like cheese. They do.
Oh, does a baby go
my
goo?
Oh, you know what
like
else
everything.
dogs love? Peanut butter.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Sweet mystery of life. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
remember that now, actually.
yeah,
I remember.
give a dog some peanut butter, and they'll spend the next 30 days trying to lick the last little bits of it off of their mouth.
Yeah. I had a neighbor dog. I'll send you the pictures of him. He was great. And I had him trained better than the owners. Because he would bark at me every day when I'd walk by. And then I was like, oh, hey, buddy. And he's just like, I don't trust you. So I was like, I would come home with peanut butter every night and hand feed him peanut butter. And then every day he never barked at me. He would just sit there and stare with his head on top of the fence, just like, please feed me.
We found Elrod's secret talent, his dog whisperer.
He is. Now, notice Burton brought up the important bag that has the vodka.
Yes. How the hell did that rifle fit into that back?
Get these burp guns out of the way. The Smirnoff's at the bottom.
Hollow. It's like 6 foot
Time Lord technology.
That's right. It's bigger on the inside.
High pack. It's got a 4 foot
Holy
rifle.
It's the bag of infinite holding.
Bring out that howitzer that is in my handbag.
Hey, come on, I gotta kill people.
There's a Sherman tank in the bottom. Keep digging.
All I have to do is shoot people, and I get $800,000 and a motorbike.
Oh, hold on a minute. Do you feel lucky, Fritz?
Do you? You might ask yourself, is there's one cheeseburger in this sack or 3? Actually, there's 10. A pint of milk.
But to be honest, I ate them all.
We live on milk and cheeseburgers.
There's a perfectly fine operational courtyard there with a little hut where they're having some schnapps and maybe some vodka. Sure, Richard will be down there later.
Some Schnitzengruben.
And some Schnitzengrubens. And a helicopter and all sorts. They're about to just annihilate everything living and blow up everything mechanical as part of their plan.
Yeah, so in other words, it's like my day job.
Exactly.
Destruction,
now,
chaos.
The radio operator, I think, is trying to pick up some funky tunes from the Americans.
Well, yeah, and he has a pin-up of a Fraulein.
They swim through the issue, yes.
There you go. No questions asked. And just in case it didn't kill you the first time, I'll kill you again with my silencer.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to give you the speech.
Sorry.
Did you feel lucky?
I just killed you.
Die.
Do you feel dead?
Now, okay, now I wasn't paying attention. Is that a silenced gun, quote unquote, or is it a tranquilizer thing?
It's a silence gun.
Okay.
It kills everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little thing that takes me out a little bit is, of course, knowing a dangerous amount of guns, which is just enough to annoy people that really know guns, is knowing that a silencer doesn't really silence. It just reduces noise.
Yeah.
So,
Have you ever showed that YouTube video to people and just watch their faces just drain of life?
Oh, what? When there's a suppressor on there?
Video where the guy did that, and he's like, "Here's a silencer, like in movies." And it's like,
yeah, exactly.
And you show that to people, and they're just like, "No, life is a lie.
Yes.
I can't live anymore."
Exactly. It takes it down from hearing damage to loud scream. So.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. So Richard Burton's just said, "Excuse me, helicopter pilot. Could you just go into the radio room to be murdered?" "Oh, yes, of course. Thank you."
Yeah, no problem. Germans they're just like Canadians. They're very agreeable.
I think does that say funk realm?
Yeah.
Maybe. Disco just made its first appearance.
Don't do the funk realm. You got
it's amazing that Eastwood didn't open that door and inside's this guy with a giant afro going, "Hey, man."
Hey, in 2 years, we'll all be wearing flares, man.
Or maybe it should have been, "Yeah, man. Was?
Was?
As you feeling the groove?
I'm very funky.
Oh, wait a minute. Or should it be and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants?
Right, we're up to the scene that Elrod saw over and over again in his
There
childhood.
we are. The TBS middle of the movie moment.
It's dining hall scene.
There's just not enough monocles in modern life. I'm going to start wearing a monocle so that we can bring this back into fashion.
So the guy who plays Rosamaya was a Ferdy Main was a vampire in the Fearless Vampire Killers, and also Ingrid Pitt was a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of vampires in this movie.
So the gay Nazi, he's in everything. Like he's like Mr.
Fahrenheit
Villain.
451. Yeah, every time you want a German, they ask him.
He was in like Doctor Who episodes too, right?
Yeah, everything.
Oh, yeah. That's a pinnacle of things, was showing up in a Doctor Who episode.
Yeah.
What?
I'm trying to. Oh, I'm sorry, Pete. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask the general who's been captured. Who has anybody seen him in anything else?
Oh, Mad Magazine.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, he does kind of have that. I don't recognize him from anything. Of course, I was going to say, I guess the German officer we're talking about is the equivalent of America's Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
There you go. Falling into Destiny. Yes, boots and pants and boots and pants and. Only it would be boots und pants and boots und pants and. I am a grammar Nazi after all. Yes. She's coming back from the lavatory. Checking my fly.
Damn, I look gorgeous.
Oh, do I have toilet paper hanging from my hobnail boots?
Of my roots showing.
This is the line from. Remind me, which side of the square was the cathedral on in Dusseldorf?
Ooh.
I don't think his chest has enough space to facilitate all of the medals and badges he has.
Yeah,
I think he needs a larger chest.
They were pretty big on medals. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a hat with the skull and crossbones on it. I like that. It says Beatty.
A little Bavarian hospitality.
Do you like my hat? It's like a pirate hat.
Do you like it?
I have noticed you have blue eyes and blonde hair, and you have hips which would be good for breeding for the Aryan race.
There you go, Dusseldorf.
Dusseldorf.
Oh man,
brandy. Well, it won't be real brandy. It'll be probably Coca-Cola.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Burton had already drank all of that.
Yeah, it's like, well, different feather.
No, wait a minute. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, how rude. They didn't offer the American a drink.
So now you see the three officers are actually spies. They're German agents. He just said rubber dinghy. That was went back to Schwarzenegger there. Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, hold on now. Rubber baby baggy bumpers. What are you talking about, man?
Baby buggy bumpers.
Yeah.
So this is so now the truth's coming out that these three are the ones that murdered the other men. So there's at least these three agents already.
I wish they'd put Slim Pickens in this role. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you see.
Okay, sorry, Pete.
No, it's fine. Did you know the driving force behind the movie
No.
was Richard Burton's stepson?
Oh,
He
really?
wanted to see his stepdad in a good old-fashioned adventure movie.
Hmm.
So where he doesn't end up dead at the end, because most of the films,
kind of like every action movie.
Yeah,
that gets a big star. It's just like, Dad, do an action movie. Do a Star Wars movie, Dad.
Yeah, and don't die.
Yeah. That Star Wars movie. No, you're male. You're not allowed.
Well, nowadays, yeah. Burton, you're pointing the gun at me.
First he gets more money. Now he's putting his gun at me.
I still get the motorcycle, right?
So this is the double dare tables turned.
I double dog dare you.
And you're a punk. This is before Dirty Harry, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Dirty Harry was 70s.
So Burton just called Eastwood a punk first. A certain Cartwright Jones, an American actor impersonating. So he's an actor. He's not a real general. So now he's saying that the three German agents are actually fake. I'm actually Johann Schmidt, not John Smith. This is a scene that's been much lampooned over the years. And it keeps going from
check out to my new car
to the other reality. So who do you believe? Are they German agents, British agents? And you just keep turning the tables.
I've had too much wild turkey to keep up. I'm just along for the ride, baby.
Don't even bother to
They've gone from hair dye to wig.
Yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat right now. Maybe they repurposed one of Sean Connery's rugs. Oh, I had to break the Aquanet out.
You like my hat?
It looks like they got it from Jason the Argonauts. It's the Golden Fleece.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Touch it. It's soft.
Look
It's
at
natural.
It's shiny.
I can swim in it.
And the music in the background is sheer 1960s music.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That blonde dude's there. Some more Coca-Cola for Richard there, please.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Wow. Let me reveal the plot to
Water.
What is this brown shit?
You try and taint my alcohol with blood?
What the crap is this? It tastes like Coca-Cola.
So this is where he's trying to tell him the idea was to lead you astray, because he's saying he's really a double agent. He's a German. And he's trying to say that these three German agents are actually MI6 agents.
Oh, man.
What's going on?
I'm so confused, man.
It's too confusing. Yeah, this is the basis. The guy who wrote the movie and wrote the book as well. It was all about constantly switching the story, so the reader had difficulty trying to follow what was going on. Which you could really say is sort of deliberately done. It's not exactly Shakespeare.
Wait a minute. Did he just give his rank as corporal?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like 89 years old. If you've been in the army for like 3,000 years and you're still a corporal,
I think
Hard living.
It's an honorary title because he's an actor.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say, I
think
failed the sergeant exam 45 years in a row.
Falling at Dusty says it perfectly. Triple agents.
Yeah, exactly.
Agents pretend to be German agents who are really English agents. Pretend to be German agents.
Yeah, wait a minute. Isn't there a movie about that? Another one where it's like, I was pretending to be a good guy who's pretending to be a bad guy who's pretending. Oh, Victor Victoria.
I thought you were talking about Tropic Thunder.
Oh, there you go.
I'm the dude who's playing the dude. This guy's another dude.
What do you mean, your people? Oh, I'm sorry. You people. My mistake. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. I have a confession to make. I have not seen Tropic Thunder. I think it would be fantastic, but I have not seen it.
It's good. Yeah.
Just the absurdity of the whole point takes me to it.
Steve Coogan is underused, but other than that, it's great.
Yeah.
But Steve Coogan has the best scene in the whole movie.
Yeah, I know it's really weird. This is where he gives them the name of Britain's top agent. Sorry, Germany's top agent in Britain, and then he gets him to ring the number.
Ooh.
Of some German who's supposed to know who Smith is to convince him that Smith is real.
Wake up, Hans.
Oh,
I'm acting.
Yeah. No more time being a big spoon.
Sure, yeah, right forearm. It's a good job. Nobody ever said, ask him to show your head's pee-pee.
Yes, thank goodness. That would be a completely different movie.
Now, this authenticates Schmidt as a double agent, but you find out later on there's another explanation for this.
Oh, spoilers, man. Come on.
Or he's actually a Russian agent. No, I'm kidding. He's Brazilian.
Oh, man. Those Brazilians.
Yeah, and their involvement in the Second World War.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to this stream because we brought up about like 5 different movies I want to see.
Robert Preston.
Ooh,
We'll have to look at that because
yeah, look him up. We got to keep Cosmetti happy.
So now he's convinced the high command that, and he wants them to write down all of the whole network of agents that they know about in Britain, and he's going to compare them to his list.
No.
Good night. Yes.
Good night, Fräulein. Could I have a crumb? Oh, never mind. I won't go in your room.
Coffee? No.
Does this castle have cold showers?
So I'm guessing the bar scene must have been a pickup shot since it was clearly a wig. Now he's back to his real hair again.
Yeah. So they're writing down the lists of the agents that they're aware of in Britain.
Do the crossword or die.
A 4-letter word for France. Oh, France!
Sudoku? What is Sudoku? It is so addictive.
Everybody's got full brandy glass.
You're not even doing Sudoku. You're reading the far side.
Agent 86, Michael Hunt is not a real name.
Now, so we're up to 1 hour 34, and it's the tense moment.
Yes.
In the dining scene. where
gun makes me hard.
I wonder if I've got any bullets in all the
now
confusion.
compare it with my original. Now watch this. Now compare it with my original. But there's nothing here, you stupid Welshman. God! There's that silencer again. A realistic silencer sound. That's it.
There's not even anything on the gun. It just doesn't make noise.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Here's the sound. There we go.
There we go. Somebody got confused in the sound department. Said,
yes. We'll just use that bottle.
Well, they heard that Richard Burton was in the movie and they needed a silencer sound for a gun. They just heard Richard. All right, Richard Burton. Right, it's the bottle open noise. And do that 4 times a day.
Yeah, because he never puts the cork back in.
Nope.
That's a dead comrade every time the cork comes out.
So now you hear the real story. Which is, I've been feeding him useless false information for a couple of years. That's the guy in Italy. See, it was all about to go swimmingly, but the blonde-haired man comes in.
You just proved that the Aryan race is superior. You valve-stretching mongrels.
Standing in the shadows. And there's Eastwood standing beside a huge fireplace.
I haven't killed anyone in 5 minutes. I'm getting fancy.
I'm getting itchy. I'm bored. It's like lockdown.
I'm going to rip off this Iron Cross and use it like a throwing star.
Note to self.
Yeah, man. See? Believe me, when I start writing scripts, Hollywood's going to go wild.
Yeah.
I can't believe that hasn't been done before.
You know,
Iron Cross to the forehead. Oh, perfect.
And I feel like you should create a company for all of this work, Ralph. Maybe call it something like Prestige Worldwide.
Ooh, there you go.
I felt like it touched the tip of my
Prestige Worldwide is nice.
Yeah.
It's much better than my selection.
That makes it legit.
It's much better than my idea, which was Classy Crap Limited.
Studios.
I'm not good at marketing, though.
I think you should put liquid paper on a B.
You have to put studios or media on the end of it to make it legit.
Ooh, there you go. Classy Crap LLC.
Yes.
Prestige Limited LLC. I like that, Pete. Thank you. I'll make you a silent but deadly partner.
So we've had the meeting, then somebody else barged in. Now somebody else is barging in. In a way, this scene, I know farce is a British thing. You might not be familiar with it, but in a way, this scene is a little bit like a farce.
Oh, yes.
There we go.
Cosmeti's got a comment, and I have a retort to her comment. Spoiler alert, Cosmeti. He's been talking for a really long time and no one has taken a drink except for me.
Yeah. Burton found it very challenging, that scene, I think.
Now it's
So
the quadruple cross.
So the plan was to lure out these 3 traitors and get them to write down all their agents, which they've got that information now. And there's still something else that we're going to find right towards the end of the movie. I'll not spoil it.
Okay, yeah, don't. And now I would like to point out that Agent 86, Ursa, or I'm sorry, I've forgotten the actress's name, stores her gun in her brassiere. That's the same place that I conceal carry here in Texas.
Very good.
Only it's a brosier, a man's ear, if you will.
For the boobs.
That's right.
You bunch of cooks. Okay. And remember to stay 2 meters apart.
That's right. Absolutely.
I kill you now, you traitorous scum.
Got to social distance in these times, lads.
And this is Eastwood's killed everybody. Now he's going to blow everything up.
Oh, yeah.
Dynamite, fire, perfect.
Oh, it's a good Friday night in the trailer park. I wonder how my buddy Ralph's doing.
Beauty.
And then there's just loads of pit battles up loads of staircases before they get to the cable car room.
Oh, of course. The castle is nothing but staircase. No, so he's going to take the main support building of the entire castle is the fireplace. That seems like an architectural flaw.
I mean, if you have a fireplace like that, it kind of should be.
Holy crap, Jones! What do you got in that coat pocket, man?
Jones,
it's just some
all in
dynamite.
the 80s.
I'm sorry.
I find it interesting he's Corporal Jones because obviously we know Burton is Welsh.
Yeah, now wait a minute. Yeah, well, he did a good American accent. So, all right. So I'm trying to read the sign on the door. I think it said sauerkraut room.
It said something
We've gone
about
this
clowns.
we've gone this whole.
Clowns.
Yeah. Oh, clowns! Oh,
Clowns.
I was going to say we've gone this whole movie without a sauerkraut reference. I'm very disappointed.
He's hidden his gun behind a box file. I don't know why. Maybe he's going to do some accountancy or payroll in there.
These krauts don't read. They'll never look here.
Oh, I thought it was the bomb. So it was a gun?
So he's just blowing up this one room, right? Good Lord.
That's it. I'm telling you, that's it.
Oh,
the entire structure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. They did have maps and blueprints to the castle. So I guess they know, like, blow up that room and the whole thing goes down.
No falling into density. It is a man's ear. Man's ear.
Brazier. Yeah, it's French, isn't it? Brazier.
Yes, I believe it is. Oh, there you go. Tied to the door lock.
Yeah, there we are. Okay, I'm going to kill all of you.
A little bit of. I just want some quiet time. Just me.
On my bike.
That's right. Me, my bike. Ursa, one of the Ursas.
Hey, Clint said the script was terrible. He said it was all exposition and complications. Well, certainly that scene in the dining room is well known for like the double take, triple take, quadruple take.
Yeah.
And according to one of the producers, well, I think, no, one of the cast, he requested that he be given less dialogue. It was all given to Richard. Eastwood handled most of the action scenes.
I'm just trying to imagine the German accent on an American going through here. Ooh.
There you go. I mean, I'm not keeping a body count here. Maybe we should do like a body count video.
Oh, yeah, we should. We should.
Kills everything in sight.
Another bundle of hot dogs.
I killed you. Here, have some Schnitzengrubens.
Wiener Schnitzel.
Welcome to the Wiener Schnitzel. May I take your order, please? Sorry, I'm going to throw out a Descendants reference here in a minute.
So yeah, we're now going into a Brazier discussion in the chat.
Oh, chat, ring it in, rein it in.
The engineering do's and don'ts and disadvantages of female rigging devices.
Yeah, you know what? When you have to make a slingshot out of that thing in the wilderness, you will appreciate it.
That's it. SHTF. It'll come in handy.
That's right. You got a double barrel slingshot set to go. You ladies will be able to kill squirrels at 1,000 meters.
And this guy's tuning into radio 1968 Easy Listening FM. Long wave radio, actually.
Oh, yeah, it's music.
This is supermarket music. I mean, when I was a kid, this kind of crap would be all the supermarkets. This is what you would hear.
Oh, yes. It was the same in America.
And Grandma would always have this on the radio.
This is a nightmare. Oh, this takes.
It had no logic. It was just aimless.
Oh, you're taking me back to minimum wage jobs of my youth, Pete.
It gave you a headache. It was just like a form of torture. I'm sure it was a weapon invented by the CIA.
It still exists too. It's just now they have satellite radio where you pick the station, but the Muzak stations still exist.
Hang on, that's the same staircase. Oh no, he's just catching up with them. Because when he said forget squirrels, I could knock out a moose with mine. Okay, well.
Hello, nurse.
And what did I say? Some people are making face masks out of them. I saw that. That is ridiculous.
Okay, going. All right. Side note: while we're listening to the Muzak, one of my minimum wage jobs, I was working as a cashier one day, and this lady walks in, pays for her items, and I did a double take because it didn't hit me. She was wearing men's underwear like a sports bra.
Oh man!
So her head was through, I guess, the fly or the cut out the bottom portion, and she was actually wearing it like a tank top, and I just was flabbergasted.
No,
it was not an attractive sight.
Clint's just seen somebody who's not dead, so he's gonna have to kill them.
Oh yes, still got a pulse.
Another living one here. That's not acceptable. Oh, good.
Couldn't you have found some good jazz or something? You're gonna die now.
I hate beer hall music.
Oh, rage falling. The Muzak is off.
Too late. Alarm bells.
Oh. You let him play that crappy music, but you don't kill him before he hits the alarm? Come on, guys. Yeah, Cosmeti's true story. That is a true story, Cosmeti.
That sounds like those people that all those makeshift masks people were wearing.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. People are making masks out of them. It's like, really, folks?
Out of everything. Yeah.
See the guy who made a mask out of like the
shoe?
Water bottle, a giant, you get in offices.
Yeah, I've seen those going through airports with that crap on.
Yeah, he cut a little bit out so he could breathe.
There was a guy that did a shoe. Like he literally had a Nike on his face and the laces were tied around the back of his head.
Unbelievable. It's just like, how does the human race survive?
I keep thinking maybe this will thin out the gene pool a bit. I don't know, though.
Here you go. Broadsword still trying to call Danny Boy.
Come on, Danny Boy. The pipes are playing.
And all the stormtroopers, Nazis are coming up the... there you go. More deaths. Eat lead, scum.
It's not a 44 Magnum, but it'll do.
I think, yeah, this last few months we have reached peak absurdity, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I can't see it getting any more. Well, I'll say that. There's always room for more absurdity.
Yeah, every time I think we've peaked, the next year takes it to a whole new level.
Or I turn on the internet and see another picture. I'm like, oh, God. I thought I saw everything, but no, I didn't.
And
it's gotten to the point of the I've seen it all pictures are forgettable now. Because they're so common.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think of the whole firing round a corner thing? Oh, there we go. The Germans have now got a fully automatic machine gun.
Yeah, they've gone full scale.
Is this what the Canadian authorities would refer to as an assault rifle? Or?
No, plastic stormtrooper rifle, maybe.
Oh dear God! See, like even that, that should have been like I've seen it all, but it was like, yeah, another Tuesday.
Yeah.
Assault rifle is a bit like using the phrase "whisking spoon."
Yes.
Well, it's a spoon, but I use it to whisk with. That makes it a whisking spoon.
And all right, So Cosmetti has an observation about fire coming out of the end of the guns.
Yes.
So that is an excellent observation, and in the midst of all the chaos, yes, that is a very Hollywood thing. They actually overload the blanks so that it looks better on camera.
Clint's having a good time because he's killing everybody, and there's explosions going on.
Yes, exactly. It's a good Thursday.
We have it all. We have it all, Danny boy. All sins forgiven. So they've got all the information they need, and I now got to get back. And this is where the carnage in the courtyard. So has the helicopter been blown up yet, or we yet to get that bit?
Not yet. No, it's still just Clint Eastwood killing everyone.
Oh, dear goodness me! What?
Oh no!
Yeah, Falling into Destiny says something about some woman who did something in Walmart. That's a war crime.
Yeah, I would have to say so. If you can tuck them into your pants, then yeah, that's an interesting anatomy lesson.
Oh yeah, you can tie them up as like a scarf around your neck.
I'm assuming that came from peopleofwalmart.com.
Yes, bosoms.
Potato mashers.
One of my favorite lines from. You might not have seen Wallace and Gromit. It's a kids' animated movie thing.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where some bloke says, because they're keen gardeners, and somebody says, "Look at my wife's brassicas," meaning, cabbages and sprouts.
Yes.
Cauliflowers. So yeah, that was the potato mashers, weren't they? The German grenades.
Yeah, that's what my grandfather always referred to them as, the potato mashers here in the U.S. I'm not sure. Did the British refer to them as something similar, or did you just call them grenades?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we had our own term for them.
Gilder flips.
Oh man! And not only did he fall to his death, he also turned into a mannequin halfway down.
He did.
That's when you know it's bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, a quad. A quad.
There we go. This is where everything blows up in the courtyard. The helicopter and everything. It's like Scheiße, put some grenade out. And
I have
acting Liebes in fire.
I was gonna say I don't know if they could say Scheisen if they translated that to English. I have a feeling that doesn't mean oops.
Oh, who's on the rope? Who's he about to kill now?
I don't know. He's got to kill somebody.
Is there enough bullet holes in that corridor, do you think?
It looks like me after range day.
I need a good drywall man in this castle.
I didn't hit the target, but it was very intimidated. I might need to go to Lens Crafters and get my prescription adjusted.
I'm very good at hitting the wall.
Uh-oh.
There you go, Clint. Now, at this stage, Clint's just got like a smile on his face as he's doing it now. It's like, hey,
outs in the barrel.
I'm getting bored of killing people.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like lockdown.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood has leveled up.
So, firefighters there, so they can just wander past unseen.
Oh yeah. Nobody notices.
We're at 1 hour 54 minutes.
Yeah,
and they're just getting the courtyard's blowing up. They're just getting down out of the castle. They're going to make their way to the cable car room. They've still got the 3 traitors. Oh no, 2. There's one dead now, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, because one turned into a mannequin, and as Cosmetti pointed out, he flipped like 3,000 times on the way down.
Yeah. So there's about 50 bullets there, but he got a slight nick on his hand.
Yeah, got shot in the hand. That's it.
Now he'll be quite badly because his blood will be quite thin from all the vodka he's been drinking.
Well, that and he'll probably get tetanus.
Right. Yeah,
dies from lockjaw. Oh, I was gonna point out as a side note, while we have a little bit of a lull, ish. You know, in the U.S. they were called potato mashers because we had a device that resembled those that was basically used to make mashed potatoes, of course. So I didn't know. That's why I asked about the British if they had a similar slang.
Stick grenades. Germans called hand grenade.
Yeah.
See, why use 5 letters when 20 will do?
Yes, exactly. Well, and the German language has a word for everything. That feeling when you make a grumpy, but it's not quite in the bathroom yet. That's Floopenschloopel. But when you make it to the bathroom, it's called Floopenschnappel. So
yeah, because the Germans can't create new words. Apparently, it seems. I might be completely wrong. I don't know, but they just tend to combine other words together for something new, which is logical. But it ends up with words that like 100 letters long.
Hold on, I feel empowered with our female protagonist that's moving along.
Yes.
So I'm going back to my female avatar. Girl power.
That's
a very big boned woman when she climbs down a rope.
Well, yeah, just a little bit.
It's shocking the transformations that happen to people when they come out of windows and abseil or fall. They either turn into mannequins or dummies.
Yeah. Well, remember
what they gain about a foot in height.
Yeah. Well, remember what we were talking about there being an extreme lack of stunt men that were alive during the 60s.
That's why they started using dummies, because the fatality rate was too high when they just threw stunt men. Yeah. So we've actually got like a bit of a ladder there in the rock, straight into the rock. Hello, can I answer the door? Are you anybody in?
Hello. Telegram for Mondo.
Telegram for
Mongo.
Oh dear God.
That didn't look like whatsoever.
I'm sorry, it was Candygram for Mongo.
Oh, it's going to be offset. This was his favorite dining room set.
Oh no! You have blown up the General's dollhouse, you Schweigel!
But look, you Americaners, the fire is still burning in the fireplace. German engineering.
Yes.
The castle may fall, but the fireplace will stand.
Yeah, it's the song, isn't it? You didn't start the fire; it was always burning.
Since the world's been turning, yeah.
Most of the words for that anatomical part are very, very silly. So it's because
I'll have to take her word for it. I know very, very little German.
I think we're talking about the earlier subject. I think the only word we didn't use was mammaries.
Oh, that's a good point.
Mammaries are made of this pericomo. Is that?
Yeah, I could start running through American slang for them.
Made of this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, British slang, you've got knockers.
Yeah,
we got that.
Yeah, that carries over.
You might not have heard this one, Chebs.
No, we don't have that one. Do you have fun bags?
Yeah. Puppies.
Sweater puppies?
Yeah, puppies, yeah.
Okay. Fun pillows?
Ooh, no, I haven't heard that one, actually.
Okay. We've got that one.
This is Movie Watch Live, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Ralph runs us into the ditch again. That's what I'm here for. Pete's trying to actually do a legitimate movie watch and review of the brilliance of the cinema, and I'm making knocker jokes.
All right.
Oh gosh, which takes me right back to Young Frankenstein.
Tits is the English one. Tits.
Oh no, you can't say that. That's one of the 7 deadly words in the U.S.
Is it?
Yeah.
Was that?
Only if you put sugar in front of it.
Ah.
Oh
yeah.
well, that's a Mel Gibson thing.
Is it?
Oh, hang on, lost my headset.
Oh, he
One
did
sec,
say
guys.
that, didn't he? Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Technical difficulty.
Right. Well, of course, I was talking about small birds who live in hedgerows.
Yes, exactly.
Small
And
birds have very large tits.
oops. All right, hang on. I'm going to go back to the Nazis. I'll go to cheer for our team.
Let's get back to the movie, folks. Thanks
Yes.
for watching Movie Watch Live. And tonight, we're watching Where Bosoms Dare.
Where bosoms dare. We have the battle of British versus American slang. I don't either. Cosmeti's latest comment. I really have no idea what these people are trying to do. Me neither, because I've ran off on a sidetrack. Sorry, folks.
So he's commanding the traitors to climb down and get into the cable car. This is where they make a break for it, the traitors.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to try and escape. There's only 2 of them now. So there they go. They're trying to make a break for it. He's pretending that he's...
Oh, my...
Oh, no, I've hurt my
my
neck.
ankle. It's like basically Rich Evans from Red Letter Media. Oh, my back.
Clint's a really good assassin. He's good at killing people, but he's just not good at identifying.
I have his credit card. Quick, go to eBay.
Buy some stuff from
I'm getting some N95 mask. Yeah. Give us your toilet paper and Schaefer will live. Yeah, we're back to the cable car, Cosmeti.
And we're back to that.
Oh, what are we gonna do?
Oh, don't disarm yourself when Clint Eastwood's in a room. What an idiot.
I know it, man. He's just killed like half of the Third Reich.
With no emotion whatsoever.
Exactly.
Just like, whatever.
No, wait a minute. Is there vodka inside those dynamite sticks? I'm trying to figure out why Richard Burton grabbed those.
Probably is.
Oh, claw hammer. Perfect.
Okay, wait.
2 hours, coming up on 3 minutes in a second. So this is a really scary bit, Cosmeti, here. Oh, that's a real shot of a real stunt.
Just hit 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 4 seconds.
Oh.
Now, did they have Eastwood with them in there?
No, that's just Burton.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say that if the traitors had had any brains at all, they would have taken Eastwood with them.
They and this is where the stuntman loses his teeth.
Oh.
When he falls from the cable car. Go on, get up there.
Yeah, you get out there. I can't see him, so you go look.
Oh, this is getting really graphic. So, this is where... Oh, there you go. This is where Clint starts using an ice pick or a claw hammer, yeah. This is it.
Perfect weapon.
It's claw hammer time.
The number 1 murder weapon in America, the claw hammer.
Well, you know.
Yes. Shooting guns on a cable car is not a good idea.
We do it all the time in Texas.
It is Burton. It is Burton.
It's sport. Church Youth League.
So this guy's trying to get him with the pickaxe. Oh, right in the arm with the pickaxe. Oh, look at that.
Do it. Yes.
Now, good crescendo with the music, building the tension. Very nice.
Yeah. Oh, he's hanging off the cart. Oh, he's back in. He's back in there.
Smart move. I'm like, I know I would be like, I'm out. Time out, guys. This is no fun.
I mean, the sort of fake fighting, it's convincing enough, isn't it?
Oh, karate chop.
Oh, it's those scenes that really convince you, the real stuntman scenes. Oh, yeah. And the screams. It's like, no, don't. And it's horrible, this scene, horrible. Because he's the look of, please help me. Oh, and this is where the glove comes off, is it? Oh, no.
Oh, there we go. Oh, no.
Oh. He kicks him off, I think. No, please. And, oh, shocking. It's a bit like, you know, the scene in Last Crusade where the baddie drinks from the cup of Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Drinks from another cup.
Shows poorly. Yeah.
Give me your hand, Elsa.
Yeah. Elsa. There we go. Now, he didn't turn into a dummy. He turned into like an animated silhouette.
Yeah.
That was a different type of death. Death by
the pull-away where he was on a,
Death by blue screen.
He turned into a chroma key.
Oh, bad. Bomb on the top. Ooh.
Clearly indicated on the bomb was a switch that said delay, so we know what's going on.
Well, you know, you gotta make it for the less tech savvy people. Oh, I see what's going on here.
Yeah, cart's coming up that way, you see.
Yeah, I've got the plan now.
So he's gonna jump from one cart to the other. Yikes! Anybody who's got vertigo watching right now, or doesn't like heights, same thing.
Yeah, this is a good time to go refresh your drink.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to do that now because I need to go get another beer. If you gentlemen can hold the fort, I'll be 2 minutes.
I won't run us off in the ditch too badly. Ooh, and jump. So Burton's now in the other cable car. Mission accomplished. Well, I guess he's not technically on there yet, is he, Matt?
No.
Struggle. But, you know, this is good. Tight shots, tense music, builds it nicely. You know, builds the tension well. Meanwhile, the baddie's in the car going down, and he thinks, oh, I am all free and clear. Whew, that was a close one.
Kabloy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my arm. It hurts so bad. What could be worse? Oops.
Oh, ouch. Yeah, that's like Taco Bell Tuesday there. Ooh. Bad experience with the dollar menu.
The 2 pounds lighter dump.
You know, but I gotta say the one flaw that was in Burton's plan in that was, you know, if that cable had broken, then they would have been stuck up there. Oh, Clint Eastwood's waking up. Is he going to kill everybody else?
Not a hair out of place.
Oh, where's the major? Good. I get to kill everybody. Awesome.
All I need is a duct tape, crowbar, this telephone receiver.
Oh my gosh. It turns into Clint Eastwood as MacGyver.
Yeah, MacGyver was a sadist. Good God.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't use a gun, but in every situation, what did he do? Built a gun.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
But he wouldn't use an actual gun. No.
You know, with this bubble gum wrapper, 110 volts AC, and this square span of wire, I can make a rail gun
and a pipe.
And a
he
pipe.
Can put, like he can fill with rocks and nails to shoot into someone's face, but he won't use a gun.
Yeah.
Be a terrorist.
Well, yeah, you know. It's not a gun. It's a musket unless you put rifling in there. When you put rifling in there, well, that's when you cross the line.
MacGyver's just, he won't do store-bought. Is that what it is?
Yes, basically, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, all these German stormtroopers running down the stairs. This looks just like the raid on Mammoth Still last week. So... this is triggering me.
Talking about guns, when they were on location in Austria, Richard Burton was having a drink in the hotel bar with his wife, Lizzie Taylor, and Clint Eastwood. And a jealous husband came in and pressed a gun into his stomach.
No, really?
What?
And he was going to kill him, yeah. And he knew that Eastwood and Taylor could handle the guy. You know, they knew they could handle him, sort of get him distracted. He just excused himself and went to the lavatory. And he came back. The guy was gone, and Elizabeth Taylor was triumphant. So Liz Taylor was so ferocious, she could get rid of jealous husbands with guns.
She probably fought the guy off by snogging him.
Yeah, she just threatened to marry him, and he ran away.
Yeah, exactly. See, I'm familiar with that British slang.
Bit of slap and tickle.
Goodness gracious! All right, so far, I'm sorry, I got to draw this back a bit. So Clint Eastwood has killed the entire Eastern Front. Richard Burton has drank all of the vodka from the Russian army. Now they're coming down in the cable car to the Western Front, basically. It doesn't look good for our heroes.
In this universe, the war ended in the winter of 44.
Yeah. Oh, so you can set timers on the bombs? Unscrew the light bulbs?
Unscrew the light bulb and the thingy, and this is back. There she is.
Okay, I brought up in another stream Chekhov's gun, because the snowplow was Chekhov's gun, because they had done work on it earlier. So it comes into play later in the movie. Very nice.
And everything you saw earlier with them laying charges is about to come good. So they need to get out of the car before it reaches the end of the cable.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we're now at 2 hours 2 hours 12 minutes 50 seconds, and then jumping out the river. That water would be freezing cold.
Yeah, I would not envy them going into that.
I've fallen in 40-degree water in the summer, and it was the worst experience of my life.
Yeah, I can't imagine. And we were joking about how wonderfully tailored the German uniforms were, but still, ugh.
Well, a lot of people die, don't they? In summer, they get hot and they jump into a river or a lake, and for various reasons, the water is cold, and they actually go into shock and die.
Yeah. Well, not to mention the shrinkage effect. Jeez, Pete.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we used to go to the Ozarks in Arkansas, and there's the Spring River that actually comes from a spring.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the river is like 40 degrees, like spring water cold.
Yeah.
And we were on this offshoot, going on the bank, because you not dare touch the water because it's freezing.
Oh, yeah.
And people drown all the time because they fall in and their body instantly freezes up, goes into shock from being in like 90-degree weather, 40-degree water.
Oh, yeah, that water.
And you instantly are like can't move.
Yeah,
and I fell in like up to my waist, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine
I couldn't do
hypothermia.
anything. I couldn't grab onto anything or nothing because you're just like in shock.
Yeah.
Now I wonder where the team got a Junkers aircraft.
Well, funny you should say that. Because we're at the point where the Junkers is returning to pick up our heroes. The Junkers was actually in use still at that time. It was, 1960.
Yeah, only 20 years.
Oh yeah, no. I meant in the world of the movie.
Oh, sorry. Well, it'll be a captured plane. There was a lot of planes captured by either side, painted in each other's colors. So the RAF had Messerschmitts painted with RAF colors.
Okay.
And equally, the German Luftwaffe had Spitfires with swastikas on.
Yeah. See, and that's part of the difference because with America being separated by the ocean, we missed quite a bit of that because Germany and England are so close geographically.
Don't forget, there was actually volunteers from America who fought in the Battle of Britain, for instance.
Yeah, yeah.
And was it Jimmy Stewart actually volunteered to fight?
I don't recall. I remember he was the B-17 pilot during World War II.
General James Stewart.
Now it's interesting to note. I've read in interviews that Jimmy Stewart was reluctant to talk about acting, but if you talk to him about aviation, he was very keen. That was a way to draw him in if you were an interviewer.
He didn't retire till the 70s from the reserves.
Mm-hmm.
He retired a brigadier general.
That's yeah, and that's it. Of course, the B-17s. I've been lucky. I didn't think I would ever get to see one fly. I did actually get to see one fly at an air show in Dallas one year. Beautiful, beautiful aircraft.
Yeah,
and there were some amazing aircrafts on both sides during World War II.
Oh,
just incredible engineering.
Yeah,
company.
It was in use in reality. The plane was in use with the Swiss Air Force. Swiss Air Force also supplied T6 Texan trainers, which are disguised as Messerschmitts.
Oh, okay.
When you get to the airport scene later on, you're looking at what look like Messerschmitts, but they're T6 Texan trainers. Done up to look like German planes.
So I see their plan now as they're going through. We're at 12:17, just past 12:17, or I'm sorry, 2:17:30 or 2:17:35 rather.
Yeah. So the snowplow's running through the trip charges, which are on a delayed fuse, and then it blows out communication. But then the telephone poles act as obstacles for the road.
And as a callback to a modern movie, 1917 had a similar scene, basically bringing up the difficulties in just traversing from battlefront to battlefront. So, the more chaos you can implement, you cut off their communications, plus the lines, trees, telephone poles, all that. Block the roads and make traversing terrain very difficult.
I mean, Cosmetti brings up a good point there as well. This is a commando mission, and these are essentially commandos. Yeah, they are completely emotionless about the whole thing. And it was the movie sort of became successful for also the fact that the German army, who had instigated such nightmarish terror, are actually on the receiving end of it for a change.
Yeah.
Which is why
I've got to chalk a lot of it up to training. most of the stuff that I've heard is that, you know, you just kind of shut down and your training takes over. So, you know, you're just doing what you're trained to do, and you're not processing it mentally. When it's all done, then you come down, and that's when you suffer the side effects.
But did you?
Like it's pure like memory and reflex until it's over. I mean, it's like fighting is the same. I mean, that's all they teach you in martial arts. It's just repetition, repetition, repetition. Then when the thing happens, you react by just second nature.
Yeah. Oh, gotta take the bridge out. Bridge over River Rhine.
Yeah. Did you know that Mark Klein about at the part of John Smith in this movie? He claims that he was offered the part.
No.
But then Michael Caine, like a lot of actors, probably claims he got the role to anything. Like all of the thousands of people who claimed they were going to be in Rambo.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Now, I do have to say one of my favorite stories from World War II is the story of General Patton stopping over the Rhine to urinate into it on his way through Germany. Patton.
You know what my favorite is was it the 81st Airborne or 82nd Airborne when they parachuted into France when they liberated Paris? They had gotten a hold of a soldier's kit, like a German soldier's kit, where they carried all the propaganda pamphlets. And it was like, I mean, if you've ever seen these things, they're so offensive, it's comical.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, here's Americans, and Americans were portrayed as like apes and Native Americans and the most offensive Native American stereotypes.
Oh yeah.
So since they thought that's what all Americans were, when they parachuted into Paris, they all like shaved their heads into mohawks and wore war paint.
Oh, that's brilliant.
When they landed in the city, the German soldiers wouldn't even fire on them because they were so frightened.
Well, you know,
I saw a picture of a guy who did that. And there's another car that's going to blow up. Didn't blow up. What happened there?
You know, it makes sense. Think of the American propaganda against the Japanese. You know, the American propaganda all produced was Japanese soldiers as bucktooth, all wearing glasses, and you know the American soldiers found a very different reality. Yeah,
they were all Tojo.
And I'm sorry, I had to switch back for our girl power moment.
And then you had,
this movie would be protested by the internet today with all these girls with guns.
And then
the Star Wars fans would be so upset.
Well, there you go. It's the original. I mean, the idea that women only became empowered in the last 5 years is obviously nonsense. There's your Texas fighters. Talking propaganda, George Orwell was sitting in room 101 at the BBC at the time as well, broadcasting lies.
But you know, it was important at the time.
I've got an interesting fact about Richard Burton. I'm not going to tell you yet. I'll wait until the film's over. Groundbreakingly shocking. So this is the airfield from Flugplatz at Engen im Ennstall in Österreich.
Wow. That sounds angry.
It does. The Fiala Fernbruch garrison still used by HS Geschwader 2. I don't know what I'm saying now. The big rocky mountain in the background of the airfield is the Grimming Mountains. Bloody hell, that's a bloody good name, isn't it? The Grimming Mountains.
Yes, it is.
Wow, how come nobody's ever thought of that before in movies? The Grimming Mountains. Probably
Grimming Mountains to Mordor.
You do it like this. It's the Grimming Mountain.
Grimming Mountain.
There you go.
Rolling your R's in Welsh accents. You do know that the actor who played Gimli in Lord of the Rings, he's Welsh.
He's got the rice.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor, John Rhys Davies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Wonderful actor, wonderful voice.
Speaking of Welsh actors, probably the most famous one, Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, he's Welsh?
Check out his Instagram. Oh my God, it's amazing.
I didn't realize he's Welsh.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
He's got an Instagram where he constantly puts up videos right now, and they're the most entertaining things ever.
I will have to check that out.
He's the famous person who is not like a robot.
Yeah.
Like he can actually project to people.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go to like Matthew McConaughey, it's this creepy robot person who's never had contact with humans.
Yeah.
And there's no life behind his eyes, but he's saying all these like random phrases that he thinks are wise. It's so creepy.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I see the Imagine video one more time, I'm gonna barf.
No, just go through Instagram and all these actors that have recently joined social media because they've just discovered it in the past couple months.
Oh, it's cringe. Absolutely.
They're all serial killers, all of them.
Oh.
They're just dead eyes and just creepy, no emotions, no real emotions.
All right, yep. I just spotted the T6 Texans that Pete was talking about. Look a little different from Messerschmitts.
Yeah. Little fatter.
Yeah,
little fatter. Canopies are wrong, but
that's my bad remembrance of the movie. I couldn't remember how well they disguised. I think they're trying to disguise them as Fockers.
Oh yeah, but still
I did say Fockers.
Keen eye.
Yeah, that's classic. The guy in the control tower. It's like, the murderer is.
Well, Clint Eastwood couldn't let Sparky get away.
I mean, how did he get him from there? You couldn't even see him from there.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, those burp guns were just 9mm. So it's not exactly a high power round.
No. This plane, this Junkers plane, is no longer with us. It crashed.
Oh, that's a shame. You're right. It's a beautiful aircraft. The tri-motor design and the corrugated aluminum on it. Beautiful. Very nice. Beautiful stuff.
This is the 3 people shooting at me. I'm just one person shooting, but because I'm a British agent,
it's nice to see a war movie where it's not a DC-10.
That's true. Yeah.
Every period movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole movie is suspend disbelief. Really, it's boys' adventure film,
Yeah, but still, yeah. Even the DC-10/C-47, at least, beautiful aircraft. But it was in everything.
Yeah.
Now, I have been lucky enough to visit both the Naval Aviation Museum in the U.S. and the Air Force Museum in the U.S., and they have some beautiful aircraft there.
Yeah.
And I can't recall what the U.S. aircraft they have there that uses corrugated aluminum like the Junkers. But I've got to give it. Germans made the beautiful aircraft during World War II.
Well, that jet fighter they had was just amazing.
But don't forget, the Messerschmitt Bf-109 was a nice looking aircraft. In my humble opinion, the submarine Spitfire was a lot nicer looking.
Oh, absolutely. Spitfire is probably one of the most beautiful aircraft ever created. Absolutely.
I love Spitfire and the P-51 Mustang are my favorites.
Yeah, they're iconic.
The Corsair is gorgeous with swept wing.
Yeah, I think
the
probably
navy blue color. Oh.
Yeah, I think you're right. Probably Spitfire, P-51, F-4U Corsair, and the P-38 are probably the most recognizable aircraft, just because they have the distinctive They're just distinctive. Yeah, the silhouette. You know, when you see a Spitfire, it is instantly recognizable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have the utmost respect, and Pete, no disrespect intended for British aviation.
But yeah, the Hellcat I like as well.
Oh, the Hellcat. Yeah. Now, an interesting thing about the Hellcat is I can't remember if it's the Hellcat or the Wildcat, but I did see one of them at the same aviation show where I saw the B-17s. They had a manual landing gear, so the pilot takes off, has to manually crank. I think it's 38 turns on the gear to bring it up. So just, you know, awkward, but you know, it's mechanical and works.
It's reliable. It won't break.
Exactly.
It's like the pop-up headlights.
Yes.
Like the original pop-up, like on the Cord, the 39 Cord was a hand crank. And, you know, 90 years later, those things still work. Whereas a Trans Am that had a pop-up headlight from like 20 years ago, you know, broke 5 days after it left factory.
Yeah.
Jesse says, did someone say cat? Did we say cat? Cat's room. Did we say cat? Oh, Hellcat, yes.
Yes, Hellcat.
The last 4 minutes of the movie, last 3 minutes of the movie. And the writer is known for this. Right in the last 3 minutes, we'll find out the real truth of what's going on. Smith's job was he wasn't known to MI6. He was an unknown, unconnected. And Eastwood's character was American, so he wasn't connected. And their job was to root out a high-ranking mole. And he's just said he showed the name of the German's top agent in Britain, and the guy agreed. And he's just about to tell him the name was you.
Oh, no. Quintuple cross.
So there you go. So the guy who thought he was in charge of the mission is being set up by everybody because they're starting to realize he's the mole. Now, he's about to shoot Smith, and he can't because the firing pin's been removed. So,
mustn't cheat the hangman. Great line.
Yeah.
The old British thing of give you a chance to kill yourself instead of facing the hangman. So what does he do, gentlemen? Do you remember what he does?
I do not.
Doesn't want to face a public trial and a public execution.
I can take a guess.
Well, they're in a plane. Where can he go?
I'm anticipating the appearance of a mannequin here in a minute.
Will it be death by mannequin or death by chroma key silhouette?
Oh, that's a tough one. I want to say chroma key silhouette.
It's a good call.
Because you got to get that facial expression in there.
Yeah. Got to get the Hitchcock ball.
Yep, exactly. And Hitchcock was the master. Just the beauty of Hitchcock is Hitchcock understood that anything that he didn't show, we would fill in with our own mind's eye. So we would supplement our own fears into it. And that's a major pitfall with films today is they show everything just because they want to horrify you with the gore, and they don't realize that what I imagine that is terrifying to me isn't terrifying to Pete or Matt. So,
well, you know what's funny is like 45, 46 years later, Texas Chainsaw Massacre still has no blood in it. But talk to anyone who's been born in those 40 years, and they'll tell you it's the goriest movie ever made.
Yes, exactly.
Well, there you go. What's happened on screen illustrated that point, because he looked at Smith looked back at him as if to say, you know, regret, you did this to yourself. What choice have you got now? Then he looks away, and then the camera goes back to Burton and Eastwood, and you just hear the door open.
Yeah.
And then when you look back, doors wafting open with the wind, and he's not there anymore. So you don't actually
Exactly. Perfectly done.
I think poetically what they're saying there is that this man has just disappeared. He ceased to exist.
Yeah. Very well done.
And that's it. We're closed, and Mary tends Richard's hand, which is the only injury sustained.
Yeah, exactly. All of that. And Cosmetti, bring up Cosmetti's comment.
Out now. He's going to go to sleep.
Oh yeah, the Peter about no emotions, or
no, the very last one, the one about the sex and violence in film. There you go. Exactly. And that comes right back to what we were talking about. If you leave it open to the imagination, it's much more impactful than anything you could ever put on celluloid.
I mean, isn't that the magic of H.P. Lovecraft?
Exactly. Yes.
The reason he's more loved now than he was when he was alive is the fact that, the unspeakable horrors, the unseen, unimaginable thing. And that unspeakable is his favorite word, because it's like, because I'm filling in all the blanks. I can tell you what the monster looks like because it's what I fear.
Well, and I think I harped on this.
If you tell me what it looks like, it's gonna, whatever,
Exactly. I think I harped on this in a previous stream, but people talk about Stephen King. His stories are fantastic until you get to the ending, because Stephen King always describes the horror at the end.
Yeah.
And it takes away from it, because through the 1,000 pages leading up to it, you've had this terrible thing in your mind, and then you get to the end, and it's an ant, or a spider. So hats off to Where Eagles Dare. They brought that Hitchcockian flair in, and I guess that would be right around the Hitchcock period, or just 68.
Yeah, he was still working.
Yeah, right. So they recognized that with that final scene.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a lot of the critics found the plot confusing. It's that dining hall scene.
Yeah,
triple take, quadruple take. But the generally positive response. A lot of praise for the action in the movie, the cinematography. Variety said that it was thrilling. It was a very lucrative movie for Richard, because he'd lost money and doing really badly in his acting career for the last 5-6 years beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
He did well on this, $1.2 million, a lot of money in that day. And then after this, his career went down again. Interestingly, Richard Burton's last movie was 1984.
Oh, really?
Actually made, I believe, I might be wrong, was actually filmed, I think, or released in 1984. That was the last movie he made. He died after the filming, or even possibly during, but I'm sure he filmed the last scene with John Hurt. John Hurt's also passed away now as well.
Yes.
That was the last movie he made, and that's poignant, considering where we are right now with the world. Richard Burton's last movie was 1984. But yeah, I mean, this was a lucrative film for him. It put him on a good foot for a while. It also earned him a lot of royalties with television repeats, VHS, and all the rest of it. It didn't come on British TV for 10 years later.
Oh, really?
But it's regarded today as a classic, something that everyone can enjoy. It is a real wartime flick, but it's one of those movies which doesn't disappoint. But I'm going to shock you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Despite the fact that Richard Burton was not averse to having lots of money thrust in his hand, he actually hated the finished movie.
Really?
Hated it. And this is going to blow your socks off. He was a lifelong socialist with a strong anti-war viewpoint. I mean, nobody wants war. It's not like can walk around who I'm
Right.
pro-war. If we can have a
Right.
war, that's great. Let's have a war. I love war. No, but
Yeah.
I mean, anti-war means you're against it in any cost. In 1974, he was banned from the BBC. He wrote 2 articles attacking Winston Churchill. One of them was called "To Know Him Is to Hate Him."
Oh,
So,
wow.
that's. But I mean, you know, you've got to take it in context to the fact that Richard grew up in a very hard, very, very hard working class background. He was a miner when he was a kid, and you've got to understand the Welsh mines and the miners in Wales. The families went into mining. The children died. Mothers died.
Mm-hmm.
Shocking. You know, you go back into the history of Britain, you'll find
Right.
that the working class were downtrodden, and that's why a lot of people became socialists, because they believed the only possibility was to form their own alternative government or pressure the. We didn't have the same system you've got in America, where you know you have certain inalienable rights. It's
Right.
not the case in Britain.
Yeah, but you know, as far as socially and economically, when you deal with places like West Virginia, East Tennessee, Western North Carolina, you know, similar situations, mining towns, similar economic backgrounds. So, yeah, you know, it still is surprisingly. I guess copacetic. I don't know if that's the right word.
Growing up in America was in the mining towns.
Yeah, you know, for example, in the United States, the mining towns, the companies would give, instead of paying their employees in U.S. dollars, they would pay them in scrip, which could be traded at the local stores that were owned by the companies. So yeah, there was definitely oppression. So I can understand those roots. It's interesting to hear that.
My mom actually lives in an old mining house. The town she lived in was a mining village, and the house was basically a duplex. It looks like a normal house, but it was split into 2, and 2 families would live in each house. And I think hers is like one of the only ones left in the town that's still split into 2 halves.
Okay, yeah.
Because most, you know, people would just tear down the wall or whatever and open it up. So they just never got around to doing that.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, there's still like, you know, remnants of the mines and ruins of old buildings that were the mines, and there's actually a company store still standing.
Yeah. Well, and that comes
abandoned, but it's still there.
Yeah, and that comes back
and it
to
was in operation until like the 90s, I think.
Oh, really? That far into it? Yeah, I can tell you for certain. There's a reason why certain areas in the South were they're still staunchly Democratic. As far as U.S. politics is, and it all comes back to the policies of FDR, TVA, and the things that were put in place during the Great Depression. So,
well, I find it. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist 100%, but I certainly do think that you know there's a lot more beneath the surface. And one of the things that, I mean, I'm not as familiar with American history as you guys obviously are. And with all of the events recently, and obviously Beatty, I've been revisiting a lot of the history. And, you know, one of the things that I didn't actually, I knew Roosevelt died and Eisenhower took over, but I didn't realize that Roosevelt died just before Hitler died. And Hitler got the news of Roosevelt dying, and he was really happy about that.
And then Truman pulled the trigger on the bomb.
That's right. It was Truman, wasn't it? Now, but I find it suspicious that just before the end of the war, Roosevelt dies of a massive stroke. I don't know whether that's. I mean, I find that very interesting. You know,
it certainly makes you wonder. Of course, I think Roosevelt was into his 5th term as president when he passed away.
He was
And
ailing. He had the polio, right?
yeah, he had polio as a child, so he was ailing through his entire presidency.
I didn't think
he was in a wheelchair in his presidency.
Yes, yeah. Any of the footage that you see from World War II, like for instance, I remember one in particular where he was walking up the gangplank to a battleship. That was a very difficult thing for him to do, but he insisted on doing it because he didn't want to be seen as weak,
right,
to the Axis powers.
Right.
So yeah, history is fascinating, and it is absolutely cyclical.
Well, the last days of World War II are very, very revealing.
Yes.
Well, when I say last days, I mean specifically, I'm talking about the European theatre.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to Patton? You mentioned Patton earlier, and what happened to Patton?
Died in a car crash.
Yeah, and was he assassinated? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of questions around that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're celebrating victory in Europe, and then that throws the whole question open about, well, I know for a fact that Eastern Europe was given to the Russians, because if they weren't given that, they would have tried to take over the whole world, because
right.
The Russians had millions of men. They had the biggest army on the planet. By the end of the Second World War, they were an unstoppable force.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Patton was also of the opinion that we shouldn't stop with Germany. We should continue on into Russia to eliminate the threat for after Germany was gone. Because people tend to forget that Russia was originally aligned with the Axis powers.
That's right.
And then Hitler double crossed them, and they joined the Allies.
Yeah. There's all sorts of theories with that as well.
Yeah, very fascinating.
It's interesting stuff. But I think despite everything that happened, if certain things were, I mean, we know the Ford Motor Company financed the Nazis. There's some shocking truth in it all. We know that the English aristocracy were ready to get into bed with the Nazis. Indeed,
Roosevelt funded their military machine.
Yeah, we had a king abdicate because he thought the Nazis were a good idea. Well, thank goodness I got rid of him. Something actually they allude to.
All of Hollywood, actually. In the 1938-39, everybody in Hollywood had a swastika on their lapel. That was like their ribbon back then.
Well, this is it. I mean, there's two movies I remember that I watched that sort of allude to that. One's The Rocketeer, where not Pierce Brosnan. It was
I can't.
Timothy Dalton plays does he play Errol Flynn or just like an Errol Flynn?
An Errol Flynn type, but they went by that rumor that he was a Nazi, because that was a rumor.
Yeah.
Right. And then in the
he did wear the lapel pin because it was fashionable in Hollywood and everybody did. This
is it, and how easy that became the norm.
Yeah.
And then you think of
the Three Stooges were blacklisted because they were anti-Nazi.
Yeah, well,
they were Jewish and they had family in the camps.
And
they spoke out against Hitler. They even made like a skit, making fun of Hitler and Mussolini, and they were banned from Hollywood for that.
Yeah, and I think them. I remember specifically the Three Stooges were Jewish, and but I believe Charlie Chaplin was probably the first one to actually, and I may be wrong, the first one to actually stand up against him with the movies like The Great Dictator.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Now, I remember
when he got blacklisted for that.
Yeah, well, he was a socialist, but I mean, the point is that he didn't want to. From what I've read about Charlie Chaplin, he was never against the idea of America. In the biopic, the other time it's mentioned is when he's confronted in in a party at the time before the war began, and somebody accuses him of being Jewish, and he says, "Well, I don't have that particular honor." But there is still rumors that he might have been Jewish, but who knows? I mean, there's rumors about a lot of people being Jewish, including Adolf himself. But the point is that the more you look into this period, the more questions you start to ask about it, and it seems like, you know, towards the end of the war, the Russians were an unstoppable force.
Oh
yeah. Through sheer numbers.
Yeah, the sheer numbers, and you look at the fact that Britain and America lost roughly about 500,000 men. Well, sorry, 500,000 people, not just men, people.
True.
Now, for America, that's a shocking statistic. But if you think about Britain's about 1/6 the size in population of America. So it's like the equivalent of 3 million people being killed in America at the time.
Right. Yeah, and we're also talking 1940s numbers.
So whereas, more like something like 25 million in today's terms, 25, 30 million.
Yeah. Well, and you know what the thing about Russia too, with their armies, whereas every other country had 50% of their people fighting, Russia had 100 because their women also were soldiers and pilots and everything else.
Well, you've got, I mean,
they had women on the front lines. Like they're like, no, everybody's fighting.
Well, compare America with the Soviet Union. America lost roughly around 500,000 people. The Russians lost 23 million people.
Yeah.
In the Second World War, and that's unreal. And it's because, for instance, you know, General Zhukov, one of the main generals, the guy who was given the prize of Berlin, would just throw thousands of men into the battle to win it. They had endless supplies of people, and we all know Stalin killed many, many more people. Than old Adolf. And I'm not advocating either of them. We're both grotesque human beings. But it puts into perspective that the Russians were just a juggernaut by 1945.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the Russians had an abundance of people, but a lack of resources. So they would basically line up their soldiers, or their soldiers, we'll say, and give out rifles to everyone they could, and then they would tell the people in the back of the line, pick up the rifle from the person that dies in front of you and carry on.
Well, I watched a documentary, which is a few years old, actually. It was probably about 20 years old, but it was a documentary about the last battles of the Second World War on the Eastern Front. And you had something called the penal army, which is if you said the wrong thing about Stalin, you would end up arrested and you'd end up in the penal army. And basically, you were then in the suicide squad, and one of the things that got the penal army to do was to manually clear minefields by just getting them to walk across it.
Yeah.
So you just basically throw the entire unit over there. They're all going to die. They're all going to step on mines. And that's the kind of thing the Russians did. So I think at the end of the war, there was there must have been a lot of discussions around what do we do with the Russians.
Oh, yeah. And that's where it comes full circle back to Patton. You know, I think Patton understood the threat that we were facing. He understood that we were mobilized at the time. We were actually geared up for a wartime front. And I think that he saw if we didn't eliminate the threat, that we would wind up at least the Cold War that we had from the end of World War II until the end of the 80s. So, you know, it definitely raises the questions about his untimely demise.
Certainly. And I think a lot of the end of the Second World War we're still feeling that right now.
Correct. Oh yeah. Well, in the UK, you all still from time to time uncover unexploded bombs from World War II.
Well, we're still getting out of the EU, which is another German project.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
So, but going back all the way, I mean, I think a lot of this goes all the way back to the First World War. 1913, America didn't have taxes. Britain was a world power. And then the First World War came along, crippled Britain, and then introduced a lot of taxes into America. So I think the First World War, the roots of the second are in the first. So it's an interesting thing. Once you start delving into it, where does it end? Cosmetti makes an important point. What we said earlier. Charlie Chapman's wife at the time in the 30s was Jewish. Married Jewish at the time of that incident, and had a lot of. He did have a lot of wives, actually. He was a hopeless romantic. Is one way to say that.
All right, time for the obligatory hello, ladies.
Yeah. And she says, I over-explain things sometimes. He did have a lot of wives. As many as Henry VIII, do you think? And you, well, we've just tied up the conversation. We have indeed.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think in general of the movie, gentlemen?
I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate I appreciate everybody that voted, and I'm glad I had an opportunity to see this one. It was a good movie, very enjoyable experience.
It does deliver. I mean, it ticks all the boxes for a nice Saturday afternoon adventure movie,
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I was going to say I hope that the chat enjoyed it as well, and anyone that views this after the live stream, I hope that you all enjoy the movie as much as we did.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the Rambo stream that we did is like over 900 views already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's got a lot of attention. What did you think then, Elrod?
I liked it. I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of a neat time capsule when you consider tomorrow's movie is sort of like the beginning of modern war movies, where it's cynical as opposed to this, where it's fun and optimistic.
Exactly. It's got the optimistic and the heroic edge to it.
Yeah, Kelly's heroes is like, oh, the soldiers are kind of dirty and grimy, and they're not quite good people. And they're very cynical, very, the Vietnam attitude was...
It is, isn't it? They're essentially Vietnam soldiers in the Second World War.
Correct, yeah.
Movie. And there's only a year between the two. I think Eagles Die is like the swan song of the old style.
Yeah.
Well, in the U.S., 68-69 was pretty much a turning point for the American population as far as how they felt about war. Right around that time frame, people were ready to be done with Vietnam. They were ready to move out.
Yeah.
And, I think cinema at the time, what was modern for then, reflects that.
Well, that's it. And it got more and more cynical through the 70s until in 1977, you had something called Star Wars come along. And people needed a break and lapped it up and had a great time. And then 5 years after that, you had a movie called Rambo, which turned the tide again in favor of the Vietnam vets and led to people saying, thank you for your service. So how much does movie control culture? And what I always say is, for this channel, there's an old Hopi proverb, which is he who tells stories rules the world.
Yes. Yeah.
How much
exactly?
How much of the movie world is there to influence society? Is it just is it just entertainment, or is it a sign of the times, or is it leading the times?
Well, and we brought it up during the Rambo stream how that was basically America starting to make amends for the way that we had treated our Vietnam veterans. So, there are things that get reflected in American cinema, or at least used to.
Exactly. So going back to the chat, thank you to everybody turned up in the chat. Thank you to Cosmetti, Falling into Destiny, Sadie, and thank you to everybody else who will watch this recording as well. Because when he makes a nice point there, these watches are a lot of fun. I stay up late for them. This is way past my Betty time. It is for me. This is almost 5 a.m. in the morning over here.
Yeah, it's way ahead for you.
Time to get up.
Yeah, well, the sun's actually coming up here now. Falling Dusty says, I enjoyed the commentary.
Thank you.
That's the most fun part. And of course, Ralph, thanks everybody for being here. And it was a blast. It was a really good fun. And, doesn't disappoint. So tomorrow night we've got Kelly's Heroes. And like we've said, different film, different slant altogether. And, characters like Donald Sutherland's basically a hippie in 1945.
Yes.
With your negative vibes, etc. So it's basically a bunch of 1970s characters transported in time to 1945.
Yeah, in interesting juxtaposition. I'm disappointed I'm not going to be able to make that one, but I know it's going to be a great stream.
It will be good. And it's one of those movies everybody remembers. It's probably one of the most popular movies, war movies, and
it has one of my absolute favorite scenes in there. All I'm going to say is all for the love of sunshine.
And I think of it like the American version of the Italian Job, because the original Italian Job of Michael Caine, where they nick all the gold, and it's like the American wartime version of the Italian Job. The Italian Job I think was 65. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
Yes.
So there's that to come. So thank you to everybody who joined us in the chat tonight, and again, thank you to my two guests tonight, Ralph, who's designed some fantastic avatars for this show and previous show. Elrod has his own war hero avatar tonight. I'm going to check that out.
Absolutely, yeah.
And thank you to Elrod as well for turning up tonight again. And with that, we'll say good night. Good night.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Thanks.
Good night. Guten Tag.